Court.
There's a lot of grief. There's a lot of anxiety in our province and in our communities this morning and all day yesterday. And really, I think an important step for families and communities working through this will be to bring these two safely into custody.
The federal government's being urged to consider banning social media platform TikTok. The Home Affairs Department's been tasked with investigating how data is collected and stored by the video sharing app. It has ruled out taking it offline completely, but the opposition believes all options should be on the table. People who've suffered harm at the hands of dodgy cosmetic surgeons can now contact a hotline to report their concerns. It's in a bid to increase regulation of the industry after an independent review raised concerns over misconduct and the underreporting of safety issues. APRA Chief Martin Fletcher says practitioners and other medical professionals should also use the line.
It's really important that we also hear from health practitioners, especially if they become aware of unsafe practices in the cosmetic surgery industry. So if a patient tells them about something that they're worried about, they can contact the hotline too.
And the hotline number's 1300 261 041. The Duchess of Sussex has made her first public speech in the UK since stepping down from royal duties. Meghan and Prince Harry have taken to the stage at One Young World Summit in Manchester.
One Young World has been an integral part of my life for so many years before I met him. So to meet again here on UK soil with him by my side makes it all feel full circle.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a Gliderol roller door and operator by September 30 for some free upgrades. Search Gliderol for details.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you for that, Kendall. West Coast forward Junior Rioli could be on his way to Port Adelaide after extensive meetings yesterday. He caught up with Sean Burgoyne, who works at the club. That was yesterday before heading to the club for a look around. And Rioli's told Channel 9 he's not sure if he'll end up at Alberton.
Could you see yourself at the Port Adelaide Football Club next year?
Oh man, hopefully we'll see how we go, see my manager can look after me, work out a good thing.
Richmond coach Damien Hardwick claims Dustin Martin is all in on playing for the Tigers next season. It comes amid speculation Martin could quit due to a loss of motivation and grief from losing his father. Hardwick has told Fox Footy Martin's in the right mindset to see out his contract at Punt Road.
100%. He's in our camp. It probably frustrates us a little bit, the constant media speculation, because it just adds a click. He's with us for another 2 years. Get used to it. I don't have to ask the question. I just know.
And locally, Aaron Young has taken out last night's McGarry medal, winning by 1 vote. Andrei Rublev has surged into the quarterfinals of the US Open with a straight sets win over Britain's Cameron Norrie. American Francis Tiafoe and Rafael Nadal are locked at a set apiece. Tiafoe took the first set 6-4, while Nadal hit back to take the second, also 6-4. Meantime, on the women's side, Jessica Pegula has defeated Petra Kvitova in straight sets 6-3, 6-2. Briefly, elsewhere, Australia will take on New Zealand in a one-day international later today in Cairns. And the group stages of the Champions League start tomorrow morning, our time. One of the highlights, Ange Postecoglou's Celtic, they take on Real Madrid. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Peter Jackson Blinds and Awnings for stunning service and results. Adelaide Metro and Mount Barker. Search Peter Jackson Blinds.
Mostly sunny and 20 today. Rain with the chance of a thunderstorm tomorrow, 18. Showers on Thursday, 16. Easing on Friday, also 16. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
7 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Tuesday. Welcome to the day of the week. 20 degrees. In fact, right now outside it's over 10. Spring come early today. It's going to be a magnificent Tuesday, the 6th of September. We've got Hero of the Week coming up before 7 o'clock. Also, the Foreign Minister, the former Foreign Minister, should I say, South Australian Senator Simon Birmingham will join us after 6:30. He'll give us some insight into the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Liz Truss, who we spent a bit of time touring around Australia with in their shared capacities as their relative country's foreign ministers not too long ago. So he'll give us a bit of an insight into the woman who'll be the leader of one of our most important allies. We'll be chatting also a little bit later with Michael Packy in Canberra. We'll talk federal politics there. We've got a whole stack of Gummersall wine to give away. Looking forward to doing that. And of course, too, we are well and truly in grand final ticket season. Clue 1 came out yesterday. Clue 2 coming up a little bit later this morning. and that means your second chance to win tickets, flights, accommodation, all included for the Toyota AFL Grand Final. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. All we know about the Grand Final ticket giveaway so far is that it's a South Australian. That's the only clue we've had. But we're not doing recaps, are we?
No, definitely not.
Apart from the one I just did there.
Yeah, well, that was a slip of the tongue.
That was the first and last
totally
recap
accidental.
there will be. No more. So you got to listen to the show for 3 hours a day, every day, for the rest of your life.
Toying with a format change too this morning.
And you got to get all your friends to do that too.
That's right.
It's like a chain ladder. If you don't pass it on, you'll have 7 years bad luck.
We might give the clue a little early. Give people a little bit of time to think about it. Because I think yesterday, our good friend that called in got jumped by the clue. Just hadn't had, suddenly you're live on radio, you got to have a guess. Yeah. We might give you a little bit of time for the clue to marinate this morning. So stay listening.
So let the clue dangle, and then we'll take the call an hour later or something.
Yeah, we'll do something like that.
I like it.
Okay.
So, Will, I don't know about you, but whenever I'm taking, ibuprofen or Nurofen or something, what I generally do, right, especially if I'm going to a casino, is I crush all my anti-inflammatory tablets up into a fine white powder, and then I put them into one of those Ziploc bags that drug dealers often use, and then I put them in my top pocket, and I try to make sure they don't fall out. What's your Nurofen?
I've told you to stop doing that.
Well, you can get yourself in all sorts of strife.
Yeah, because you just don't know what could go wrong. People make assumptions.
They do. They're just so quick to jump to silly conclusions that you might be taking cocaine or something like that. And particularly if you're taking your anti-inflammatory drugs in a toilet cubicle, or if you're in a nightclub setting. Like, it's hard for people taking your anti-inflammatory drugs at nightclubs and casinos. Yeah, there's a huge stigma attached to that. And frankly, I hopefully Wayne Carey's going to be the bloke who becomes the flashpoint for justice at last for these people.
When I was a little kid, I struggled. I couldn't swallow tablets, so they used to get crushed up.
But I can't swallow the story.
But I was about 6.
Yes. Did Mum put them with apricot jam? Mash them up with apricot jam?
No, it was I can't remember how we used to do it, but I definitely got them crushed up. But then I wasn't playing blackjack either. So the context is important. It was before going to school in year 1.
6-year-old Will Goodings at the baccarat table. Sneak eyes. Have you ever heard a worse excuse?
So,
at least Shane Warne, God rest his soul, had the good grace to blame his mum for the diuretics.
That's right. His mum was ordering them, wasn't she?
Does this bloke with the form that he's got seriously think anyone in the world is going to believe? We're talking about Wayne Carey, obviously, folks, for those who haven't
He's a
caught
sad
up with the story
Wayne
yet.
Carey, isn't he?
Page 1 of the Tizer exclusive. Carey's casino ban after white powder fell onto gaming table. King loses his crown. Footy great Wayne Carey has been stood down from Channel 7 and been banned from Crown Resorts premises for 2 years after a bag of white powder dropped from his pocket onto a gaming table at a Perth casino. Sources close to Carey insisted it contained, in quotes, crushed up anti-inflammatory drugs. I mean, is that really the best you can do?
Look, people go through difficult periods of life and make mistakes, but you'd sort of like to think that there is a trajectory of redemption. Where people go, I've worked my way through that ugliness. Wayne Carey doesn't seem to have worked his way through much.
No.
There's a timeline in the paper today that sort of bears reading, because it talks about a consistent pattern of behaviour or accident, shall we say, to give him the benefit of the doubt, over a prolonged period of time now. And it's a rapture. It's not like there was a dark year or two or a dark couple of years. It's like a dark couple of decades now. It's a very sad story, reading that.
I was actually thinking about this last night, because it's a long time since I edited that newspaper. But while I was editing it, one day a guy came to me, one of our celebrity reporters, and he said that he had some friends in sport who'd heard that after the affair that he'd had with Grant Stevens, Anthony Stevens' wife, that he was playing up again, and that everyone in Melbourne was talking about the fact that he was making all of these trips to this apartment in Docklands, and there were photos of him, and there was another person who knew about it, and that he was lying about the fact that he was being faithful to Sally, was his wife, and it was an open secret. And the Melbourne media didn't want to do the story. Well, they wanted to run the story, but they wanted it to look like the story had been done by, Sydney media people to give themselves a bit of distance, which is exactly what happened. So a crew was sent down from Sydney. There were all these photographs that were taken, but I remember the reporter coming to me and he said, I feel like the story's right. And I said, why is that? And he said, well, I've spoken to Sally's father in Wagga. And I said, yeah, what did he say? He said, if Wayne Carey ever steps foot in Wagga again, he is leaving in a pine box. So that's what his father-in-law said about him in 2007. And it was one of those stories where I had people in my ear who, because this guy was working for like Fox Footy and was a commentator, and they were ringing me saying, "Oh, is this really sort of? Do we have to cover this story?" And I said, "Well, the guy is a walking headline machine.
Yeah,
like, he's just brazen. He just thinks he can get away with stuff."
Yeah, that's a good point. That's what that timeline that you're currently resting on the newspaper speaks to. Hey, 14 minutes after 6, I know you went to the show yesterday. We'll get your review shortly. Interested in getting our listeners' reviews of food at the show. There's a double-page spread this morning, the Advertiser, 8223 You can text us on the Automasters text line as well. That sort of lays out the value for money proposition that food is or isn't at the Royal Show at this minute. And let's give the vendors the benefit of the doubt. Inflation's a story. So food's gotten smaller and the prices have gotten bigger. Some listeners will note there is a special food reviewer in the paper this morning. Sophie Penberthy, 19 years of age, maybe has an in with the paper, not sure, reviewing the Wonder Dog, the foot-long Dagwood dog that set back you or her $16, which is quite something.
The term misnomer means inappropriately named thing. The Wonder Dog, there should be a picture of the Wonder Dog in the dictionary next to the term misnomer. It is the most wrongly named thing I've ever seen, paid for, or indeed eaten.
Well, I did like this line that inadvertently gave you a drive-by in the piece. Sophie Penberthy, 19, Goodwood. Miss Penberthy's dad treated her to the huge Wonder Dog, which I just thought was nice, because you have been the foremost advocate for the Dagwood dog, the traditional format, that I've ever come across. You're a great defender of it. You don't know what it is.
The Wonder Dog's putrid.
Right, okay.
It's disgusting. And it's just obscenely big for starters. We had about a quarter of it and threw the rest out. But I don't know how anybody could actually finish one.
It does.
It is disgusting. But the whole sausage to breading ratio is completely out of whack.
19,000 calories in that thing, I reckon. The sunrise is up. There was a really pretty one a little bit earlier if you did catch it. It's 16 after 6. News headlines are coming up in just a moment.
Like shocks shooting through your body.
That's how some people describe their shingles pain. Shingles is caused by the reactivation of the chickenpox virus. While most people recover fully, up to 25% may experience long-term complications.
I had to cancel all my plans and struggled to work.
Up to 1 in 3 people risk developing shingles in their lifetime.
If you're 50 or over, don't let shingles affect your plans.
Talk to your doctor for more information. Individual symptoms may vary. Sponsored by GlaxoSmithKline Australia, Melbourne.
I'm Kathy Nagel, Chief Executive of Western Hospital, Henley Beach. Chronic diseases may cause heart and vascular conditions that, left untreated, can cost you your life. Western Hospital offers a wide range of cardiology and vascular interventions which may prevent disease and could help prolong your life. Interventions range from cardiovascular health checks to diagnostic interventions like angiogram and stenting. For more information, visit westernhospital.com.au or phone 8159 1200 to arrange a referral.
Gallop in for Beaumont's massive bathroom catalogue sale with never-to-be-repeated prices and heaps of freebies, like a free bath caddy with Decina baths or a free loo with our complete bathroom packages. With up to 25% off, don't miss Beaumont's massive bathroom catalogue sale.
Hey, it's Callum here. It wasn't by chance that Edwardstown Mazda located themselves bang on South Road. They wanted to make it easy for people driving to the city just like you to get your car serviced. So no matter what make or model car you have, make a pit stop at Edwardstown Mazda for a logbook service. They can drop you into the city so you can forget about expensive parking fees, or borrow a new car for the day, which is what I like to do.
It's gotta be.
At Edwardstown Mazda, they'll do whatever works for you. edwardstownmazda.com.au.
Dreaming of the Greek islands, Croatia, French Riviera, British Isles, Iceland or Norwegian coast? Explore Europe with the destination experts, Phil Hoffman Travel and Holland America Line. Now is the best time to book a 2023 cruise to the Mediterranean or Northern Europe during the Ultimate Upgrade event. Enjoy a complimentary stateroom upgrade, $99 per person reduced deposit and up to $300 onboard spending money. Hurry, offer ends 31st of October. Contact Phil Hoffman Travel today, pht.com.au.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
18 after 6. Not a lot of love coming through for Wayne Carey and the Automasters text line. We'll get to some of those shortly. Let's get into the news headlines first, though. More than 2,000 people are expected to attend a state memorial service in Melbourne tonight for Judith Durham. The Seekers lead singer died last month, aged 79. Members of the public were able to register to attend the tribute service, which is also being live-streamed via the Victorian Government website. Looks like the Seekers are going to perform there.
Yeah, right.
So, which will be a lovely touch. Yeah,
nice
really.
that people can register and go.
A mental health co-response program has been launched by South Australian Police. The 12-month trial will see a mental health clinician working alongside police officers in certain call-outs. The team is stationed at the Elizabeth Police Complex. They'll travel in an unmarked vehicle 7 days a week between 11 a.m. and 11 p.m. Hundreds of Australian families remain stranded in Bali this morning after multiple last-minute Jetstar cancellations. The company is blaming a lightning strike, a bird strike and delays in sourcing spare parts as reasons for the delays.
That's all the excuses you can imagine rolled into one right there.
One of those is not like the others, though, isn't it?
The dog ate our homework.
There was
Jetstar
the lightning,
said.
it was the bird, didn't have a few parts.
Yeah.
5 special flights have been...
Oh, yeah. We did have a wing. We need a wing.
That's what we're missing.
Birds.
5 special flights have been scheduled, with 2 expected to touch down in Sydney this morning. These passengers say it's been a major inconvenience.
We were meant to fly out yesterday.
Hoping to find out soon if we can get on a flight tonight to get home. We've been trying to call them and can't get through.
The only way we could get home was booking a flight to Sydney with a 4-hour delay on the 4th of September, and we've missed funerals.
Wouldn't be the best place to be stuck, the airport there in Bali.
Bali itself wouldn't be a bad place to be stuck. I mean, imagine you're meant to be back at your job, and if you had the money in the accommodation and the weather was good, you could just stay there and drink.
Well, that's a nice scenario.
Bintangs for 50 cents a long neck. Eat, ikan bilis and gado and ayam goreng and all the other delicacies.
If it gets cancelled and you can get alternative accommodation, that's fine. The one that's the nightmare is when you turn up at the airport, delayed. 4 hours later, cancelled. Next flight, delayed. 4 hours later, cancelled. And you're like the slow-boiled frog, and suddenly you've been at the airport for 16 hours. That's the nightmare scenario.
That's true.
More than 470,000 lemon cars have been sold in the last financial year.
How many?
470,000.
470,000.
More than. ACCC data shows 264,000 Toyotas alone have been sold with mechanical issues.
That's the Kluger recall. That's one of the things that the back seats aren't properly installed.
Consumer Action Law Centre's Chief Executive Jared Brodie says it's putting people at risk.
Well, each of these vehicles represent a person, often a family, heavily impacted by a lemon car, someone who can't get to work, a father who can't take their children to daycare, someone who's missed a hospital appointment, someone, that really needs it for an emergency purpose.
I'm concerned about Brisbane this morning. I don't know if we've got any listeners in Brisbane. If you're there, can you please register that Brisbane's still on the map? But for the first time in the history of the Bureau, if you go to the Bureau website this morning, Brisbane is a dash. Not a nothing, a dash. Canberra, for example, was 0.0 a short time ago. It's 0.3 at the moment. So
maybe it's been cancelled.
I think Brisbane just doesn't exist.
Maybe Brisbane did something politically incorrect. Actually, that wouldn't be surprising.
Did they defund the Bureau? Well, I don't know what's happened. Anyway, here in Adelaide, it's 10.8. Nice and warm outside Darwin. We're the warmest capital in Australia this morning. Heading for what is going to be a beautiful day. Top of 20. And David, you'll be delighted to know the Bureau has adopted your language. Mostly sunny.
Excellent. About time.
Tom Wren's in the 5AA Breakfast Studio on this magnificent morning. Rennie, good morning to you. Order a Gliderol roller door by September 30. You get free upgrade. Search Gliderol for details.
Will, good morning. David, where to start, boys? Maybe we'll go with the football. The news that's come out in the last 24 hours, and that is that Junior Rioli has been in town and he has met with Port Adelaide. He's had a meeting with Sean Burgoyne, and then he was at the club for a medical yesterday. Corey Norris, who I work with across the road at Channel 9, he caught up with him, and this is just a little bit of what he had to say after that meeting with Sean Burgoyne yesterday.
Play the best footy, you got to be comfortable, and for me, I learnt that when I wasn't playing footy, that I was playing good footy, but I wasn't comfortable, I wasn't stable, so if I could be stable, and I know I'll get the best out of my footy.
So audio there, thanks to Nine. Now, there's no question in my mind, I think that you're not coming here for meetings and medicals unless you're pretty far down the path and want to get here. It's just now whether or not the club can organise a trade.
What I don't get is he's on the record saying to you guys at the airport, he's coming. Then he got off the plane and he did media in Perth and said, and I quote, "It was just to go check out the coaches and meet the guys, really, no decision yet, just have a look at the environment." Now, I'm not sure Willie's really across the whole nature of modern media, but we're kind of aware of what gets said in both places, Mr. Rioli.
Yes, this is...
It's a great coup for Port, though.
Be fantastic. Well, I think he's a great replacement for Robbie Gray, who they've just lost. You know, West Coast fans.
And if you call Rioli, you just get immediately picked by an AFL team, don't you? Because you've got that Tiwi Island magic running through your blood.
He's just got something, coursing through the veins that you just can't teach. But West Coast fans would feel slightly aggrieved. He had the 2 years out of the game.
They stuck with him.
And then if he left, but family reasons, compassionate, it's tricky, it's tough.
And
father
also,
passed away recently.
I think there's something. Well, okay, that overrules all, right? That's the most important thing, and you can't prevent someone from moving job on the basis of compassionate reasons. But beyond that, even for football reasons, there's something fundamentally flawed about West Coast.
Yeah,
there's something wrong in that playing group and at that club where they still have enough raw talent on that team to field a competitive side that should at very least be on the outskirts of the eight.
Mm-hmm.
There's something I can't begrudge anyone who would say I want to go and see play and work in another environment if that's where you've been the majority of your career, because it's been a basket case for a while.
Which is so unlike West Coast. Over the years, they've been arguably one of the strongest clubs in the last 30 years.
It's amazing what losing a grand final can do. Yeah. To a club for a while though.
Seen it many times.
They was less than a kick against. Oh no, hang on.
They beat Collingwood.
No, they did beat Collingwood.
Yeah.
What am I talking about?
Yeah. But
if you look at it from that perspective, how the mighty have fallen so quickly. What year was that?
2018. I reckon.
Pretty recent.
Yeah, only 5 years ago. Fellas, I always find it curious the timing with AFL rights stories. Off the back of the best week of finals football we've probably all seen in recent times, this story comes out. The AFL, I think they're geniuses at playing the PR game. And just planting this stuff out there.
Well, so much of the negotiation, I think we've seen evidence now. It plays out publicly.
Yeah,
there have been drops at various times. We're speaking to Amazon. Gil would travel over and someone would get across the fact that he's speaking with Apple and Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Then, Paramount in Australia, a pretty interesting option.
And this bidding war,
That's right. You're right. They manage it exceptionally well.
Incredible. And the timing is great for them. The first week of the finals could not have come at a better time for them in terms of quality and engagement, fans, the breadth of the country.
An advertisement for itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Nick Kyrgios and Ajla Tomljanovic. I mean, does Kyrgios win his first Grand Slam? Boy, he looks good. And Nadal's in a bit of trouble at the moment against Francis Tiafoe.
It's officially at the point if Nick Kyrgios doesn't win this, it's a major disappointment.
Well, he's the favourite. He's the bookie's favourite now. So, intriguing.
Medvedev can't handle him, can he?
He can't beat him. He's won 4 of the last 5. Nick Kyrgios' record against top 10 players, I think he's got a winning record against every top 10 player except for Nadal. I mean, he's box office. He plays better because he is better against the better players.
Did you see the moment in that game where he just gave away I've never seen
where he went over the net.
Yeah, when he ran past the net to hit the ball. He tried to create a punchline and just gave away a point in a crucial moment too.
He gave away a break point.
He gave away a break point. I've never seen a professional tennis player care less about individual points. There's just occasional ones he just says, well, there'll be another one in a minute. it just seems to Medvedev seems to be so tightly wound as a bloke. It just gets inside his head.
Yeah.
You can't hack it. He's thinking, what is this clown doing?
How is he doing this?
Hey, good text here to wrap things up where we began. Jane with a Y says, hey, boys, I did some Googling. There's important information, Tom, in case you yourself are ever thinking about putting your anti-inflammatory drugs into a see-through Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
Jane with a Y says, apparently anti-inflammatories should not be crushed as they can cause damage to internal skin layers and are no longer effective as pain relief. Paul Wayne, she signs off.
I should also say, well done to Aaron Young from North Adelaide, winning the McGarry medal last night. 18th Rooster to take it out. Joins the likes of Andrew Jarman, Barry Robran, Jimmy Allen. So some absolute legends there. So well done to Aaron Young.
Good on you, Reddy. Order a glider or roller door line operator by September 30 for some free upgrades. Search Glider Roll for details.
Learning online is great until you have a question. Learn it local at WEA. With a huge range of courses, WEA is a great way to learn new things and meet new people with teachers who can actually answer your questions. Visit wea-sa.com.au.
Patience pays off, especially if you've been holding out for a great deal on a new Volkswagen. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen is now receiving truckloads of new Volkswagens. Yes, they're coming. And they're available at amazing prices. Remember Mawson Lakes Volkswagen for servicing too, with next day servicing and free loan cars. Get a great deal on Volkswagen now. Don't dilly-dally, dawdle or delay. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
I'm a massive fan of the outdoors and watching this amazing South Australian landscape unfold on either side of the highway. But I'm not a big fan of backing a caravan into a tree or post or parking it under a dodgy gum tree. If that happens to you, don't panic. It's probably covered by insurance, and the only name to trust for your repairs is Walker Crash Repairs. I'm a massive fan of John and the boys. They're your RAA approved caravan crash repairer, so let Walkers get it fixed right and quick.
Learning online is great until you have a question. The more we ask, the more we learn. So learn it local at WEA. A little local knowledge goes a long WEA. Find a course that piques your interest and meet like-minded people. Visit wea-sa.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Mostly sunny and 20 with the 6:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Don't miss 8 Audi bonus draws in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Deadline is midnight Friday.
Incoming UK Prime Minister Liz Truss is vowing to get straight to work on slashing taxes after winning a leadership race for the governing Conservative Party. The British Foreign Secretary will replace Boris Johnson following a formal meeting with the Queen at her Balmoral residence. Ms Truss has thanked her supporters and says she's honoured to be named leader of the Conservatives.
I will deliver a bold plan to cut taxes and grow our economy. I will deliver on the energy crisis, dealing with people's energy bills, but also dealing with the long-term issues we have on energy supply.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and opposition leader Peter Dutton have congratulated her. The Reserve Bank is poised to lift interest rates to above 2% when it meets today. It'll place more cost of living pressure on Australian households. Market Economics Managing Director Stephen Koukoulos says it's hoped inflation will be under control by early next year.
The good news will be that if we do in fact find that, say by the end of this year or early in 2023, that the economy does slow down a little bit as the RBA's aim achieved, then that'll be the end of the interest rate hiking cycle. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting sort of pretty close.
AFL great Wayne Carey's found himself embroiled in yet another scandal after being caught with a bag of white powder at a Perth casino. More from Christina Hearn.
Wayne Carey was gambling at Crown Casino in Perth last Thursday night when a Ziploc bag containing a white powder fell out of his pocket. Security was called and the 51-year-old admitted the powder was his. He's been banned from Crown for 2 years and was evicted from the Crown Hotel where he was staying. Last night, Carey insisted the white powder was not illegal and instead was crushed up anti-inflammatory drugs. The football great was in Perth to commentate the Fremantle Bulldogs clash. Channel 7 have stood him down pending an investigation.
Former Liberal staff member Rochelle Miller will receive a $650,000 taxpayer-funded payout. It's for damage and loss suffered while she worked for former Liberal cabinet ministers. Alan Tudge and Michaelia Cash were both named in the landmark no admissions settlement as they continue to deny claims of bullying and mistreatment. Another day of multiple cancelled flights have left hundreds more Australian passengers stranded in Bali. Lara Vellas at Sydney Airport.
Australians who've been left stranded in Bali have vowed to never fly Jetstar again after the airline cancelled 8 return flights from Australia to Denpasar in the past 5 days. Passengers say they've been left out of pocket thousands of dollars rebooking accommodation and alternative flights, while others managed to get a Jetstar flight home only for that journey to then be cancelled again. The airline has apologised and is blaming engineering issues, putting on 5 special flights to help get some of the 200 Australians still stranded back home. 2 flights from Denpasar are due to touch down in Sydney this morning.
A Queensland medic has died on the front line in Ukraine. 27-year-old Jade was driving his medical vehicle in eastern Ukraine when he was targeted by Russian military. DFAT's assisting his family. A telco has been fined for not passing on customer details to a secure database used to send out emergency alerts. Aussie Broadband failed on 30,000 occasions to update the integrated public number database, which allows emergency services to send out automated warnings for floods and bushfires. ACMA Chair Nerida O'Loughlin says anyone concerned their number may not have been passed on should be reassured by the action.
They could ask their telcos to make sure that their numbers are being kept up to date, but we're keeping a rigorous eye on it for consumers to make sure that when numbers are given out or when information for numbers are changed, that information is updated by their telecommunications company.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a Gliderol roller door by September 30 and you could get free upgrades. Search Gliderol for details.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide is a big chance to land Junior Rioli after he met with power officials yesterday. He had a meeting with Sean Burgoyne before taking a tour of the club's facilities. Well, the AFL is understood to be on the verge of signing the richest TV rights deal in Australian sporting history. 9 newspapers reporting Nine Entertainment has made an offer worth roughly $500 million a year, which could mean football on both Channel 9 and subscription service Stan. Seven and Foxtel currently hold the rights. Football writer Caroline Wilson says things are moving and it could be big news for Tasmania.
I honestly think this is about to happen, and I feel that within a fortnight we could have a 19th team in Tasmania, a stadium deal, and in 2026 an extended media rights deal.
Wilson there on Footy Classified. Well, Aaron Young, meantime, has become the 18th player from North Adelaide to win a Magarey medal. The 29-year-old telling Sample Radio he was thrilled to win last night's count.
To now be compared to blokes like that who are legends of the footy club is pretty special.
Nick Rokar from Norwood finished just 1 vote behind as the runner-up. Well, Rafael Nadal is locked in a tense battle with American Francis Tiafoe, with the match locked at a set apiece, and Tiafoe now serving to take out the 3rd set in their 4th round US Open clash. Earlier, Andre Rublev beat Cameron Norrie in straight sets. And Cameron Smith has been nominated for the PGA Tour's Player of the Year award despite his recent defection to LIV Golf. The Aussie tied for 4th in his debut event in Boston, earning $1.5 million. Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler have also been nominated. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Peter Jackson Blinds and Awnings for stunning service and results. Adelaide Metro and Mount Barker. Search Peter Jackson Blinds.
Mostly sunny and 20 today. Rain tomorrow with the chance of a thunderstorm, 18. Showers on Thursday, 16. Easing on Friday, also 16. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
5AA's Business Lounge with Leith Forest.
In the Business Lounge today, we're joined by another happy Arbor Vitae customer, Gary. Morning, Gary.
Morning, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Hey, we all know Arbor Vitae contains the potent natural anti-inflammatory and antioxidant supplements, which provides a whole bunch of benefits. What I want to know with you, Gary, when did you start taking Arbor Vitae and what for?
Over 12 months ago now. Early onset arthritis in my knee, old football days, getting older. I'm in the forklift game, always on my toes, on my feet, and started taking it and just simply couldn't believe the result.
Am I right, you heard the commercial on the radio and thought, I'll give that a go?
I heard it for some time, but let me tell you, it's Australia's best kept secret. I cannot talk long enough about it because it is just a simple, brilliant product.
You mentioned your work in the forklift game, so clearly high levels of labour involved there. Did you notice the significant benefits after taking the Arbor Vitae?
I couldn't walk. I was hobbling around like a bullfed. I really needed a walking stick, to be honest with you, and I simply wasn't going to do that. So it was two options: do something about it or start taking a supplement of some description. I heard about this on the radio, started taking it, pain went. Just simply went.
So clearly, Gary, you're happy to recommend it.
If you've got any pain at all in your body, give it a go.
Thanks, Gary. For more information or to order, visit arborvitae.com.au, or why not give them a call on 1300 879 863. That's 1300 879 863. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
It's 22 minutes to 7. Hero of the week coming up before 7 o'clock. If you've got a hero that you'd like to shout out on the radio, give us a call, 8223 You can text us too on the Automasters text line. A former Oxford graduate and commercial manager for Shell, Liz Truss, will become the UK's fourth Prime Minister in 6 years. She defeated Rishi Sunak in the Conservative Party leadership contest and will travel to meet the Queen at Balmoral in Scotland to formalise the position. Now, her former role was as Foreign Minister in the Johnson government, which saw her come out to Australia just recently, and she travelled around the country with the then Australian Foreign Minister, South Australian Senator Simon Birmingham, who joins us now. Simon, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. Good to be with you, although I was the finance minister at the time.
Oh, you're finance minister at that point.
Liz and I shared the trade portfolio, though, prior to that.
That's right. Don't want to put Maurice Payne out of a former job. But so, Burma, what was she like as a colleague, albeit one from the other side of the world? And more importantly, how do you think she'll perform as the new Prime Minister of Britain?
Well, Liz was great to work with. Together we launched the Australia-UK Free Trade Agreement negotiations and undertook those negotiations for a couple of years through multiple rounds, getting very close to a deal that was then finalised not long after the two of us had left the trade portfolio, and that was a deal that really is great for both countries in deepening investment ties, the opportunities for trade flows, the opportunities for young Australians and young Brits to move between our two countries, and a whole lot of high-tech opportunities. And Liz was driven to get a good outcome for both countries. She's a good friend to Australia and has stood up internationally against various authoritarian powers, particularly most recently Russia. But most recently she was even in Adelaide in February of this year, visiting the shipyards at Osborne, looking at the high-tech facilities that BAE have got in place there. And so I've got no doubt that we will have in Liz Truss as UK Prime Minister somebody who works well with Australia and works well with us internationally in defending all of our common interests and values.
The AUKUS agreement sort of saw Australia go back to the future with regard to just re-strengthening ties with traditional allies like the UK and the United States. Can you give us a bit of an insight into Liz Truss's worldview, Simon, based on those conversations you had with her in the context of talking about how Australia fits in an alliance like that and what opportunities it might provide?
Well, Liz recognises the power of democracy, the importance of countries who have these common like-minded value sets in support of basic freedoms, basic democracies, basic human rights, working cooperatively together to be able to defend all of those. And that's why AUKUS was born, in the sense that three very trusted partners, the US, the UK and Australia, agreeing to share our deepest military secrets and technologies, the sharing not just of nuclear submarine technologies, but also of missile technologies, artificial intelligence technologies, the types of things necessary to keep our defence forces at the cutting edge and our countries best able to defend ourselves and all of those values we hold dear. Liz is not afraid to speak her mind. She's certainly willing to stand up and argue for all of those values. She confronts a particularly challenging time, though, in the UK, as the impacts of Russia's invasion of Ukraine are having profound effects across Europe in particular, and 80% projected increases in energy prices for households is a cost of living spike that is well beyond even what we're feeling in Australia, and means she's got a fair bit of business to get down to in getting on with the job.
And Burma, do you think that Boris Johnson might make a quiet phone call to your old boss, Scott Morrison, because the pair of them sort of... they tell a bit of a story about how incumbency went from being a blessing to a curse in the midst of the pandemic, don't they?
They did. They did both ride the wave of COVID in that sense, and the crash that came at the end, I guess. I could certainly see them enjoying a quiet whiskey at some stage in the future.
Simon, as a
maybe not so quiet with Boris.
No, he got his partying out of his system. As a former finance minister, and how do you imagine that Liz Truss is going to go prosecuting a position of, or advocating for tax cuts in the context of inflation at 10% and the economic challenges that UK and Europe are facing? I guess maybe more generally, tax cuts as a bulwark against what we're seeing as a crisis that all countries are going through at the moment. It feels like a difficult task to try and prosecute that one, doesn't it?
Look, it's a careful balancing act. Obviously, when you get really extreme cost of living pressures, you want to do more to put money back into people's pockets. And for governments, that entails either taking less out of them in the first place through lower taxes, or of course more handouts and more subsidies. So that's the brutal, blunt choice that comes down. Over the longer term, you hope to stabilise inflation, grow the economy, grow wages. They're all the strategies over a longer term you seek to achieve. And in the UK, they're not just facing some of the inflationary pressures, but they're seeing the risk of greater economic slowdown. And I think that's where Liz is coming at from the policies she's committed to around tax cuts and other measures to make sure that she strengthens their economy so that you don't end up in the worst of all worlds with inflation running high, but also then an economy collapsing and jobs being lost.
Good stuff, Burmo. We thank you for sharing those insights into the new British PM. Senator Simon Birmingham joining us this morning on 5AA. Cheers, mate.
So you look at some of the inflation figures around the world at the moment, and you do a double take. So Turkey's inflation's hit over 80%. I mean, Zimbabwe...
So that means at the start of the week, a pot of hummus is like $5, and then by the end of the week, it's what?
$9.
$9. That's a lot of chickpeas, isn't it?
I mean, Zimbabwe's 200%, but you kind of associate them with
that might be good.
Economic debate. That's right. It might have come down a little bit, but just some of the figures are just absolutely staggering.
In a relative sense, Australia is lucky compared to... Well, it's not just luck, it's good management.
Good management. And also...
a few natural advantages, like...
having all the energy resources in the ground kind of helps. That said, relative advantage doesn't put money in your pocket.
We're going to catch up with the Weather Bureau soon to get the forecast for the week, but I've got to say, I have never seen more people than I saw yesterday at the Adelaide Royal Show. It was easily the most packed it's ever been. We didn't even go into the Dairy Pavilion. It was so busy. Like, there was a queue actually out the door just to physically enter the building. Tell us, if you were there yesterday, folks, I'd love to get some reviews of the show from people who, obviously first time in 3 years. It's a big deal and an excellent thing that it's back on. But I think what happened was that with the forecast for rain later in the week, I reckon a lot of people yesterday went, all right, let's go today.
Have to get in now.
And I think today's going to be a big one as well.
Well, today's going to be magic. The rain over the next couple of days, though, is something else. We'll be speaking with the Bureau about that in just a moment. But first, let's check traffic. Until your new BMW arrives, Adelaide BMW will help keep your current vehicle fueled. T's and C's apply.
Thanks, Will. At Glandore, we've got urgent sewer works this morning. That's on Anzac Highway near South Road. Cavan, Asheville works continuing there. Port Wakefield Road near Montague Road. Fullerton, intersection upgrade works. Crossroad and Fullerton Road, pretty slow going at the moment. And around Wavell, expect delays around Greenhill and Goodwood Road later in the morning. That's due to the Royal Show. Fair few pedestrians around there, so do take some extra care. Camera-wise, got them today, Days Road, Ferryden Park, and another one, Hart Street at Semaphore. Order or see coffee on the OTR app and enjoy a freshly ground barista-made coffee. It's as easy as click and collect. OTR. Making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Last month, we serviced around...
We remembered RAA road service, the new battery and tyres.
Yeah, we did.
But we forgot the tent.
Cabin.
Before you do the fun stuff, let RAA take care of the car stuff and
keep on moving on. Time for you to switch and save? Call 1300 Automasters or book online. All centres offer repair now, pay later options. So switch and save with Automasters. Great service guaranteed.
At Anderson's Solicitors, we have a brand new look.
But behind it, we're still the same faces. The same approachable, client-focused team committed to helping find the right solution for you. With locations across the state, whether you need help with family law, commercial law, wills and estates, or personal injury claims, talk to Anderson's solicitors today. Visit andersons.com.au or phone 8238 6666. That's 8238 6666.
With everything going on, it's tough to stay ahead. But you can always rely on a great Aussie shed to protect your tractor, boat or car, even turned into your very own bar. Somewhere to pile up your bales of hay or to escape with a block of clay. Whatever the plan for your Great Aussie Shed, act fast, because our Great Aussie Shed sale is here at last. Visit one of our 4 display centres today. Olympic Industries, built to last.
Introducing Nissan Future Value Business Plus, a new fleet finance solution for small to medium businesses offering competitive weekly repayments including the cost of scheduled servicing for the loan term. Available now on the Nissan Navara SL 4x4 dual cab auto with more models to come. Thanks to Nissan Future Value, you'll know your vehicle's value to us at the end of your loan term. You can choose whether to upgrade, keep or return your Nissan vehicle when your loan term ends. The choice is yours. It's a flexible finance solution for your fleet that puts you in control. Plan confidently for the road ahead with Nissan Future Value Business Plus. Visit nissan.com.au/business plus or contact your local Nissan dealer. Approved ABN registered small to medium fleet applicants of Nissan Financial Services. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
Last month, around 11,000 people trusted us with their pride and joy. Automasters, logbook servicing, repairs, brakes, aircon and more. Isn't it time for you to switch and save? Call 1300 Automasters. Great service guaranteed.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Might have been written about today. It is a beautiful day on the way. If you'd like to interact with the program this morning, we love you to do so. Call us on 8223 You can text us on the Automasters text line. If you're watching along on the Facebook or YouTube live streams, thanks to RAA, drop us a comment there. We have, of course, grand final tickets that potentially could be given away a little bit later in the morning. The clue for today and today's guests will be given away in the next hour. The next hour on the program, so stay listening for that. Let's talk about the weather first. Jenny Horvat, senior forecaster at the Bureau's on the line. Morning to you, Jenny.
Good morning, guys. How you going?
We're good, thanks, Jenny. Looking forward to today.
Yeah, look, today is the pick of the days for the remainder of the week. We saw that high cloud that we saw yesterday slowly contracting to the southeast. It made a bit of an impact on those minimum temperatures depending where you are. Minimum temperatures getting down to around 4 or 5 degrees in the northern suburbs, but here in the city we only managed to get down to 10.2 and that happened about 20 past 5 this morning. But yeah, look, mostly sunny day today. Still a little bit of high cloud hanging around in parts and we could see a little bit coming across from the west, but 20 degrees is on the cards today for the city and the northern suburbs. Along the coast, 19 or 20 degrees and 19 up at Mount Barker. That will all change tomorrow, though. We've got this low pressure system coming across from the west, so we'll start to see that high cloud thickening up during the morning with a little bit of light shower activity developing during the morning and then really starting to pick up during the afternoon and evening. We could see some thunderstorm activity as well later in the afternoon and the evening period through there, and we could see some heavy falls more likely around the hills later on the Wednesday through there. We are looking at a maximum temperature of 18 degrees. So that cloud band will clear off overnight, still leaving some showers around on Thursday, starting to really pick up again later in the day. Temperature down to around 16 degrees. Still some showers around on Friday, easing later 16 degrees. On the weekend, couldn't rule out a shower or two, but less likely than what we would have seen. Cooler temperatures there, guys, 15 degrees.
Good on you, Jenny. Thank you. Jenny Horvat, senior forecaster at the Bureau.
Batten down the hatches.
Yeah, absolutely. But enjoy today first. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson from Sapole is on the line. Kylie, there's been an unexplained death at Parkholme.
That's right. Police and emergency services are currently at a Parkholme home after a person was found unresponsive. So just before 5 this morning, police and ambulance crews were called to Condata Avenue, and despite attempts at the scene to revive the person, they sadly died. So police are remaining there at the moment investigating the situation. So it's very early, so we're not sure exactly what's happened, but we ask anyone with any information to please contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Kylie, also a man's been arrested in Elizabeth Park for breaking into cars.
That's right, and this was a bit of a joint effort with members of the public and SAPOL. So it was about 11:30 last night. Police were called to Patterson Road at Elizabeth Park after a member of the public detained another man for breaking into cars. So patrols attended and found 2 cars had been broken into and a board game had been stolen. So a 41-year-old Elizabeth Downs man's been arrested and charged with theft and illegal use of a motor vehicle. Illegal interference of a motor vehicle. He's been refused police bail and will appear in court today. And we just want to really thank those members of the public for helping out. Firstly, giving us a call really quickly, and they detained the man before we got there.
Good stuff,
Good on you,
Kylie.
Kylie. Thank you. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson from SAPOL. Hero of the week in a moment. If you've got a hero that you'd like to shout out on the radio, you've got our blessing. 8223 0000 is the number. Maybe some texts on the Automasters text line first.
One here saying from Sam, saying it's a shame that we lost Simon Birmingham to opposition. He's really impressive. And I'll tell you what, though, overwhelmingly, all of the messages we are getting are about Wayne Carey. One here from Mark in Para Hills. How far can a bloke fall from grace? Channel 7, Triple M, The Age, they should all get rid of him. Crushed anti-inflammatory tablets. Good on you, Mark. Ed says, Dave, I'm sure Will would stop you going on air under the influence of antihistamines or Coke Zero.
I know. I've had to step in before.
Yeah, when my
staged an intervention.
Crushed up Nurophens.
I tell you what, Ed,
pocket.
if you knew David, I think the idea of him having Coke Zero would be a sign that something has gone really amiss. He's a full-strength Coke man all day long.
I never touch the unleaded. No point. If you're going to go, you might as well go hard. One here from Ollie the Walnut. This is like a bad car crash or a dead set train prank. Wayne Carey, you are an absolute disgrace. You should be sacked from all footy media jobs. And one here making the point from Mick that the extent to which drug use appears to be an issue in broader society. I absolutely agree with you, Mick. And I don't know, I just, for the life of me, can never understand how people who, on the one hand, can talk about being an ethical consumer and how they're not going to deal with businesses like you're not going to buy an iPad because they're made by Uyghurs in China or whatever, will happily prop up the cartels of Mexico, whose stock in trade is kidnappings, beheadings, taking over whole towns through terrorising local police, local teachers. You underpin the Sinaloa cartel and Los Zetas because you like partying with your mates. It's the most disgraceful form of behaviour, I reckon.
Need a hero palate cleanser.
A hero palate cleanser.
Let's talk about good things, good people doing wonderful stuff. 8223 0000. Remember too, you don't have to have found the cure to the common cold to be considered a hero. You might have just done someone a kindness. If you know someone that fits the bill, call us now, 8223 0000. Sam, you've got a hero for us.
Morning. Foo Fighters, the drummer, Taylor Hawkins, he died, we know, earlier in the year. They could have been at the Adelaide 500. They haven't performed since last weekend. They did a tribute show to him. So they had a roll call of guests. Brian May and Roger Taylor from Queen were some of them in attendance. But it was the last drummer, and for the song, There Goes My Hero, here's Dave Grohl.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone hit the drums as hard as this person. He's a member of our family. He needs to be here tonight with all of us. And I think it makes sense that he's going to come up and play with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome Mr. Shane Hawkins on the drums.
16-year-old Shane Hawkins, so Taylor Hawkins' kid, went up there and played drums with the Foo Fighters. So he's my hero. It was pretty cool.
It was amazing
it was
too.
Sick,
yeah. There's some of the stuff from that concert. The Dave Grohl being unable to sing.
Because he was so upset.
When he was, at times he was just in tears.
Yeah.
But then the sun was a really touching and moving moment, but everyone was just caught up in how cool it was.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It was, yeah.
I haven't seen any of the concert yet. Can he drum?
Yeah, I'll show you in the news break.
Excellent.
Unreal.
Yeah, prodigy.
Because those guys, because Dave Grohl, the way he drummed as well, like when he was drumming for Nirvana, he used to drum like he was angry at the kid, like the kid owed him money. But Taylor Hawkins was like that too. I can't wait to check that out, Sam. That's a good nomination.
My hero comes from the world of Hollywood, and because I love it, there's nothing better than a comeback story. Brendan Fraser has not been the lead in a major film since 2013. His last endeavour in that year went straight to video, back when there was video. That wasn't good. Since then, sort of done a little bit of TV on the side. He's been the fourth bill in a couple of movies, hasn't been able to star in anything. And he's famously shy and quiet, doesn't do interviews, doesn't talk about himself. You won't read about the latest Brendan Fraser controversy because he's away from the spotlight. Well, he popped up again, and he's popped up in a way that have some people talking about Oscars. Here's the reception to his new film, The Whale, that it got at the Venice Film Festival. Venice is famous for standing ovations. I like to make a big show of it. That one went for 8 minutes, 6 or 8 minutes, depending on who's reporting. But Bowl reports a remarkable comeback in which he plays the role of a 270-kilo man, had to wear this giant fat suit, and it's the story of it's a remarkable sounding story. Not just for what it portrays in a narrative sense, but what it represents for Brendan Fraser's career, who was considered sort of yesterday's action star that didn't have much.
He's in The Mummy and stuff
In
like
The
that.
Mummy was his probably most famous thing, but he's come back, and he might be coming back with an Oscar, which is one hell of a comeback story.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I would like to nominate carers. I was talking to my kids yesterday. There were a large group of people next to the carnivore stand on the edge of the main arena. And a huge group of young people and older people who had quite profound special needs. And talking to my kids about like how for them this is such a huge day to go out for the first time in 3 years to see the Royal Adelaide show in all its glory. But just looking at the work that those carers put into looking after those people, and I thought, you know, the richness they bring to their lives. So everyone who is involved in caring for people with special needs, I dips my lid to you.
5AA News is coming up. On the other side of it, we'll take you through some of the big stories of the morning, including a new British Prime Minister. A new host for A Current Affair is going to be required, with a high-profile resignation last night, and, of course, a football legend in trouble again. That's coming up on 5AA Breakfast.
You know what? When I worked at Mitchie's back in the day, I was considered the fourth diamond. Funny that was true. What is true, though, is the opening of the new Mitsubishi showroom at Wayville. It's been a while in the making, but I tell you what, it is totally worth it. You won't see or experience anything like it in SA. It is groundbreaking. So if you're buying a Mitsubishi or you're getting your car serviced, please head to Wayville Mitsubishi. It's now open opposite the showground, driven by Australian Motors.
When you've been around for over a century, you know a thing or two. And Business SA and Ray White have almost 300 years between them. So when an alliance is formed between Business SA and Ray White Business Sales SA, they're bringing all their experience to your business, making sure it's in top shape, whether you're buying, selling, or somewhere in between. Get in touch with the experts, Business SA and Ray White Business Sales SA on 8300 0000. That's 8300 0000.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Mostly sunny and 20. With the 7 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Don't miss 8 Audi bonus draws in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Deadline is midnight Friday.
Police and emergency crews are currently at a Parkholme address after a person was found unresponsive. They were called to Condada Avenue just before 5. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson says attempts to revive the person were unsuccessful.
The police are remaining there at the moment investigating the situation. We're not sure exactly what's happened, but we ask anyone with any information to please contact Crime Stoppers.
The Reserve Bank is tipped to raise interest rates to the highest level in 7 years when it meets today. The central bank's widely predicted to increase the rate to 2.35%. Liz Truss has been confirmed as Britain's next Prime Minister to succeed Boris Johnson. Returning officer Sir Graham Brady announced the ballot result.
The total number of valid votes given to each candidate was as follows. Rishi Sunak, 60,399. Liz Truss, 81,326. Therefore, I give notice that Liz Truss is elected as the leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party.
The current Foreign Minister will officially be sworn in as Prime Minister after a meeting with the Queen in Scotland. Jetstar has apologised to customers after thousands of Australians became stranded overseas. Dozens of flights from Indonesia, Thailand and Japan have been cancelled due to maintenance issues. Around 4,000 Australians are believed to be stranded in Bali alone. These passengers have shared their experiences.
Just an extra night. We were meant to fly out yesterday. We were offered a refund or they would pay for our accommodation last night and our meals today.
Flight yesterday got cancelled, so we stayed another evening, and then our second flight got delayed, so hopefully we make it home this time.
Supposed to fly out yesterday. We're now on the next flight for today, and we've just been delayed again.
Wayne Carey has been stood down from Channel 7 after a bag of white powder fell out of his pocket onto a gaming table at Perth's Crown Casino. Carey was in Perth commentating on the Fremantle Western Bulldogs game. He was immediately escorted from the venue and banned for 2 years. Carey insists it was just crushed up anti-inflammatory drugs and nothing illegal. TV veteran Tracy Grimshaw has announced she's stepping down from a current affair after 17 years behind the desk. Revealing the news on air last night, she thanked the show's loyal viewers for their support and says it's been a privilege to host the show.
You have let me indulge my love of interviewing here. I have talked to people who've made us all laugh and cry, who've shared their triumphs and their challenges and their wisdom and despair. So thank you for that opportunity.
She'll host her final episode of A Current Affair in November. More than 2,000 people are expected to attend a state memorial service in Melbourne tonight for Judith Durham. The Seekers' lead singer died last month at the age of 79. Members of the public were able to register to attend the tribute service, which is also being live streamed via the Victorian Government website. Prince Harry and Meghan have taken to the stage for a youth conference in Manchester, their first joint working visit to England since quitting the royal family. More from Tracy Vo.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex received a huge applause as they entered the hall. With the opening ceremony for the One Young World Summit was being held in Manchester, Meghan delivering the keynote speech focusing on perseverance, but also revealing some personal details that she draws inspiration from her own children. The last summit the Duchess attended was in London in 2019. This time around, her husband Prince Harry was by her side. They now head to Germany to mark 1 year until the Invictus Games.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a Gliderol roller door and operator by September 30 for some free upgrades. Search Gliderol for details.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. West Coast star Junior Rioli says he needs to do what's best for him and his family after meeting with Port Adelaide officials. The out-of-contract forward had a meeting with Sean Burgoyne in Adelaide yesterday before a medical at the Powers headquarters. Rioli telling Channel 9 he'd been discussing his future with his father before he recently passed away.
I've been through too much the last 18 months, so yeah, I just want to kind of make the most of, being in the industry I am now. Oh man, a lot of this has been, weighed up before I came back to footy, so it's kind of been playing with me and my dad. It's just a bit slow that, my dad's not here.
Still on football, scans have confirmed Collingwood star Jordan De Goey has a Grade 1 AC joint sprain, but he is expected to play in this weekend's AFL semi-final clash against Fremantle. Meantime, North Adelaide's Aaron Young has won this year's McGarry medal by a vote ahead of Norwood's Nick Rokar. Well, Rafael Nadal is in big trouble in his fourth-round match at the US Open. He's currently down 2-1 against American Francis Tiafoe with games on serve in the fourth set. Meantime, the Special Ks are out on court and have won the first set in their round of 16 doubles clash against Lloyd Glasspool and Harry Heliavara. Well, struggling Australian captain Aaron Finch is under pressure to find form in today's one-day international against New Zealand in Cairns. And the Matildas are out to level their two-match series against Canada tonight in Sydney. Meantime, the Opals have landed on the Gold Coast for their final training camp ahead of the Women's Basketball World Cup later this month. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
First National Real Estate. Their team of real estate experts will put you first.
At Glandore, look out for urgent sewer works. That's on Anzac Highway near South Road. Cavan, asphalt works continuing there. Port Wakefield Road near Montague Road. Fullerton, intersection works there. Crossroad at Fullerton Road and Wayville today. Expect delays around Greenhill and Goodwood Road later in the morning. That's due to the Royal Show. Fair few pedestrians around that way too. Camera-wise, look out for those Hardies Road, Torrensville and Hart Street at Semaphore. Ultratune has won the CanStar Car Servicing Award for customer service and value for money for the 4th year running. Call or search Australia's #1 Ultratune today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Peter Jackson Blinds and Awnings for stunning service and results. Adelaide Metro and Mount Barker. Search Peter Jackson Blinds.
Mostly sunny and 20 today. Rain tomorrow with the chance of a thunderstorm 18. Showers on Thursday 16 and easing on Friday also 16. At the moment 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
The Barossa Valley is gorgeous, which is why it makes sense to make the Vine change to retirement living in Barossa Village, Angaston, Tanunda and Nuriutpa. It's the retirement lifestyle you deserve. And your pets too. Yes, your pets are your family, so you should never have to choose between your lifestyle and your beloved animals. Make the Vine change at Barossa Village, under an hour from the city. Find out more at barossavillage.org.
If it pops, or if it twists, you'll find it at FIVEAA. If it comes in a can, or is best in a glass, you'll find it at FIVEAA. If you serve it on the rocks, or with a paper umbrella. In fact, whether it's wine, beer or spirits, whatever you fancy, you'll find it at FIVEAA. FIVEAA, your local independent SA family liquor stores.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
9 minutes after 7. Good morning to you if you're joining us for the first time on what is going to be a magnificent Adelaide day. Good morning to you if you're watching on the RAA Facebook and YouTube live stream as well, or if you're one of the many people that's commented about Wayne Carey's latest issues. We'll get to some more of those shortly. Gee, the Automasters text line is absolutely in meltdown this morning. But we'll start with a story that we spoke with the South Australian Senator Simon Birmingham about a short time ago. The UK is set to have their 4th Prime Minister in 6 years. It's sounding veritably Australian, isn't it? 4 in 6 years. The next will be Liz Truss, a Oxford graduate, former commercial manager for gas and oil firm Shell. She campaigned against Rishi Sunak on a policy platform of tax cuts and cutting the corporate tax rate, or rather not elevating it to the level that it had been set to go up by. She says that will be canned. She got 81,326 votes. Rishi Sunak had 60,399. It wasn't the thumping victory that was expected, but a victory nonetheless. Liz Truss is travelling to meet the Queen at Balmoral in Scotland. Notable because the Queen's whereabouts and mobility at the moment is a little bit of a question mark. So
we had a text about that yesterday.
Yeah.
The Queen's not been seen for a while. Hopefully everything's all right there.
Here is Liz Truss, UK Prime Minister-elect.
You got Brexit done. You crushed Jeremy Corbyn. You rolled out the vaccine and you stood up to Vladimir Putin. You were admired from Kiev to Carlisle. We need to show that we will deliver over the next 2 years. I will deliver a bold plan to cut taxes and grow our economy. I will deliver on the energy crisis, dealing with people's energy bills, but also dealing with the long-term issues we have on energy supply.
So 2 years until the British election. You'd think the Labor guy is in actually quite a good chance. Can you imagine, though, anyone in Australian politics being known as Sir?
No. And what would your chances of ever being elected to anything if you had a Sir in front of your name?
Somewhere between 0 and 2%.
Unless you was in a Sir Dennis Lilly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That might be the only way a person can get away with it.
Yeah. DK. Or maybe Booney as well. But anyone else. How great that we've inherited none of that crap from Britain.
Mm.
In fact, we've gone the other way. And it probably says a bit about the fact that two of the biggest influences on our cultural heritage, post-1788, of course, the Irish and convicts. Because the idea of doffing your cap, I didn't even know why the British Labour leader's called a Sir anyway.
I'm not sure what he did.
No.
Is it peerage? Is it achievement?
You
or
can
is it...
inherit these. You can
exactly.
inherit these things.
Was he born into the right spot?
Probably.
Yeah, there's something grotesque about that. But with due respect, I'll find out exactly why he got it. 'Cause it might have, maybe he's done something tremendous and we've sold him slightly short.
Exactly.
I'll find out in a moment.
We should also say the same to Wayne Carey this morning, because somebody pointed out, what if they were anti-inflammatory drugs in his bag? Maybe we're all being too quick to rush to judgment on this one.
Maybe.
Well, surely the best way to have that little quandary resolved is for Wayne to hand over the bag. Because it would take any decent pharmacist about 3 seconds to work out that it's ibuprofen as opposed to something else.
So he was evicted from the hotel. Management found out. And I just find this... If this was me and it was something totally benign and legal, you'd be horrified what this is going to look like publicly.
You'd hold a press conference saying, I can prove this. I've handed the drugs over to the bag of chemical stuff over to the police.
Well, this is how this is the Times reporting this morning. Carey was told it was not a good look, the source said, and he and his group of 5 or 6 people left immediately. The source confirmed that Carey then found another hotel to stay in. I should have shoulder shrugging your way and going, oh well, that's a bit of bad luck.
Yeah,
maybe he was upset. Maybe the source has sort of, played it down a little bit, but it's a serious allegation for someone to make against you when it's false. I'll tell you what job changes less often than that of British Prime Minister, and that is host of a current affair. Well, there's going to be another one, the first in some 16 years, because last night Tracy Grimshaw announced she's standing down.
Before you hear it from anyone else, I've decided to finish up with a current affair this year. It's been a big decision, huge actually, and before the gossip websites start telling you rubbish, I want you to know it's been my decision alone, and I'm not being shoved out the door by the boys' club because I'm too old. I'm not too old, I'm just a bit tired. Thank you for your loyalty. I hope I've repaid it. I'm around until November, then I'm going to take a long holiday, but it's business as usual until then. See you tomorrow night. Good night.
18 years she's been doing it. It's an amazing amount of time.
16 years, I think.
16. But you think about, like, prior to doing a current affair, she did the Brekkie show and was up at the crack of dawn. Now doing this show, she's burning the midnight oil, sort of late doing the presentation and wrapping up after the program. I think Tracy Grimshaw has been a really impressive host of that program and has been someone who has interviewed people without fear or favour. You wouldn't know which way her political views line up. There's been times, most notably over the Joey John scandal in the NRL, where she just unloaded on the bloke, even though he was a fully paid up stablemate of hers at Channel 9. So she's been her own person and a real pioneer for women in the media.
I've undersold her a year because it was, in fact, the first part of 2006 she started, so it's actually 17 full years she's done in the role, which is remarkable, taking over from Ray Martin. The Premier of South Australia, Peter Malinauskas, has some high-profile company on the list of those people that have been blackballed by Russia. Ben Stiller and Sean Penn have now been sanctioned.
Ben Stiller
and Sean Penn.
Meet the Fockers.
Yeah, that's right. They've made a lot of public comment with regard to the conflict in Ukraine.
Meeting with President Zelensky the day before the invasion, and then meeting with him again on the day of the invasion. I don't know if he knew that he was born for this, but it was clear I was in the presence of something, and again, I think reflected of so many Ukrainians, that was new to the modern world in terms of courage and dignity and love.
So Sean Penn, you can hear it, the emotion in his voice, was very affected by the conflict. He was there filming a documentary when it broke out and then got trapped in Kyiv, I believe he was. So from there he met Zelensky and has been back on subsequent occasions. So he's seen by Russia as a bit of an agitator. Ben Stiller, too, has called Zelensky his hero. Sometimes this is a serious story with serious reporting, but the language isn't necessarily entirely serious. Back in June, reports one news site on this story, Stiller, star of Zoolander, Meet the Parents and Dodgeball, told Zelensky, "You're my hero."
Well, given Zelensky's background as a TV
And a comedian.
Actor and comedian, yeah. They'd probably get like a house on fire.
So anyway, Peter Malinauskas, if you all get rounded up at some point in time, well, look, it'll be, funny company.
Yeah. I tell you what, the photo that refuses to die, and I'm not sure if Peter Malinauskas is happy about it or sad. If he's listening to the program, he's more than welcome to let us know. The pic of him with his shirt off. The story about the aquatic centre, it was up online yesterday. There it is again on page 7 today. The old abs. But I don't know. If you look like that, you'd probably roll with the punches.
Let's suggest the Premier is the same as most other human beings. He will publicly say it's embarrassing and privately absolutely love it. 17 minutes after 7. I'm going to talk about the Aquatic Centre next. Some question marks about where it's going to be, what it's going to cost, who's going to chip in what. We'll speak with Lucy Hood, the member for Adelaide, right after we go to a break. But first, let's check traffic until your new BMW arrives. Adelaide BMW will help keep your current vehicle fueled. T's and C's apply.
At Glandore, urgent sewer works there, Anzac Highway near South Road. Cavan, we've got asphalt works on Port Wakefield Road near Montague Road, speeds of 25. Wavell, expect delays there around Greenhill and Goodwood Road later in the morning. That's due to the Royal Show. Fair few pedestrians around there, so do take extra care. And Camera-wise, got those today. Cavan Road, Dry Creek, and Main North Road at Blair Athol. Get $20 off at Coles when you spend $250 or more online. Ends today. Head to coles.com.au and use promo code VALUE. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Leon Biner.
Pensioners are going to receive about $20 extra a week to help make ends meet under the biggest indexation rise in 12 years. So let's talk to the Council of the Ageing, Ian Yates.
It's very significant. Pensioners and beneficiaries have been facing higher costs in a lot of very basic goods and services, and this compensates them.
9 till 12 weekdays.
They absolutely need this kind of increase.
SSA as Leon Biner. SSA as AA.
Don't say we didn't warn you. Over 75% of tickets in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery have already been sold. Don't just dream about winning the life-changing grand prize and living mortgage-free in Somerton Park. Get your tickets now. With over 75% already gone, you don't want to miss your chance to win big. Join the fight for South Australia's healthcare heroes and get your tickets today. homelottery.com.au. Licence M14227.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easy for property investors and the tenants of their properties. Everyone is treated with integrity and respect. That's the Lynn Andrews way. For commercial and residential property management, we are here to help. Visit lynandrews.com.au.
G'day South Australia, Cheats here. Over the years I've seen some great South Australian teams, but the best has to be the team from BL Shipway, who I've known for over 30 years. They've been looking after the state's hydraulic and pneumatic needs since 1953. You can find them on Richmond Road with stock on hand from quality brands like Ryco, Rexroth, Hydac and Enerpac. If you can't get to them, they'll send a Ryco 24/7 van to you anytime, anywhere. blshipway.com.au, a South Australian team you can count on.
There are some promises we just can't keep. Like, one day we'll take the whole family to Disneyland. Or, I'll definitely start my fitness regime tomorrow. At Bob Burns Blinds, we have a promise we always keep. It's our 10-day installation promise. Unlike others, our quality roller blinds are made right here in SA, not interstate. So instead of waiting 3 months or more for your roller blinds, we'll do it in 10 days. And that's a promise. bobburnsblinds.com.au.
Patience pays off, especially if you've been holding out for a great deal on a new Volkswagen. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen is now receiving truckloads of new Volkswagens. Yes, they're coming. And they're available at amazing prices. Remember Mawson Lakes Volkswagen for servicing too, with next day servicing and free loan cars. Get a great deal on Volkswagen now. Don't dilly-dally, dawdle or delay. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
21 minutes after 7, $82 million the new Adelaide Aquatic Centre will cost. It's going to be built south of the existing facility in the Northern Parklands. There's some quibbling around what exactly the Adelaide City Council is going to chip in. They'd previously accounted for some $15 to $20 million. The Premier yesterday suggested that maybe it might be a good idea if some of that money was directed to remediating what will become the old Aquatic Centre site. That seems to be the sticking point in this story. Here is Arman Abrahimzadeh, the Deputy Lord Mayor, yesterday.
What I don't appreciate is the fact that state government expect the City of Adelaide ratepayers to pick up the bill.
That's Arman speaking yesterday on 7 News, and 7 also caught up with some local resident.
That's a joke because it'll take 30 to 50 years to regrow those trees.
So not happy with the trees that'll have to be removed, I presume. Although there'll be some planted, you'd think, at the old site if it's going to be remediated.
Yeah, well, we've got the member for Adelaide, Lucy Hood, on the line now. Lucy, good morning, and thank you for your time. Just before we talk about where the new aquatic centre is going to go, is there any clarity yet around what is happening to the existing site? Is it all just going to go back to being parklands? I mean, it seems like a good opportunity to do that.
Absolutely, yeah. Good morning, Will, and good morning, David. That's right. So it was really important that we keep the current site operating while the new one is built, because we've got thousands of families and users that use the facility. So once we have built the new centre, the current existing site will be returned to parklands.
Is there any timeline on the process? And given that our friends at the Adelaide City Council are involved, the spectre of things like the Lacornu site rings in your ears a little bit. How long is all this going to take?
So now that we have announced the new location, which will be just south of the existing facility, we'll start consulting with the community on design and the services that will be at the site. But let's just break down, I guess, what Arman was saying previously and look at the alternative. The former Liberal government's plan was really just an unfunded thought bubble. So what it would have done is put Adelaide City Council ratepayers on the hook for not just contributing a huge portion to building the new facility, but future capital works and operational costs. So given just about 7% of visitors to the centre actually do come from the Adelaide City Council area, we didn't think that passed the pub test. So that's why the Malinowskis Labor government, we're stepping in, we're stepping up, we're going to operate and build the new centre. And importantly, we've had those ongoing long-term discussions with the Lord Mayor about returning the current facility to parklands once the new centre is built. So when you look at it, I think, for your listeners, you've gone through a state election, you've gone through a federal election, you've now got a council election coming up. I think what they want to see is just all of us working together for a good outcome for the community.
So what's your expectation? What should they chip in?
So they've already budgeted around, I think it was 15 to 20 million if they were going to have to build and be responsible for building a new centre. Under the previous government, Rob Lucas actually went on radio to say that they'd probably be up for more than that, given that the former Liberal federal government, ScoMo, wasn't going to put in or chip in any money for that. So we know that they've already got that money there. We've been having some really positive discussions with Lord Mayor Sandy Bashaw. I just look forward to the council elections and working with that new council, whatever the makeup will be.
But why wouldn't you have that nutted out before announcing
facility.
It? Why not have that sorted out before announcing it? I mean, we're talking 15, 20 million bucks.
Because the focus really is on building the new centre. We know that the current facility has become a bit of a political football under the Adelaide City Council. So it's got concrete cancer, parts of the grandstand are fenced off, the diving tower is structurally unsafe, so hasn't been used in ages. And so really the priority here is the community and the users of the facility. We need to build a new centre that's going to service us for generations to come. So that is the priority, and that's why we announced our new location yesterday so that we can get on with the job.
Just finally, Lucy, re the new location. Can you give us a sort of more precise sense of which part of the southwestern parklands it's in, particularly to put to rest any concerns that the very large community of SA netballers might have about it encroaching on their space?
No. So if everyone can imagine where it is right now, so it's on part 2 of the Adelaide Parklands. So we are literally building it just south of that. So really just next door or just underneath it. So we're even utilising the existing car park. We're going to have entry
so it's
from
still
the same
so it's
area.
still on the northern side of the parklands. It's not going to the southwestern part of the parklands.
No, we're not. No, that's right.
Because it was reported as being southwest.
No, that's right. So, yeah, southwest of Park 2. So, of
But
the
still
same
in
park.
Park 2. Yeah, right, okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, netballers, rest assured, you're not going to have to swim 25 metres to have a shot on goal. Good on you, Lucy Hood, State Labor member for Adelaide. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for your time.
27 minutes after 8. Last night at the sports show, Timmy G and Rowie were debating Nick Kyrgios's chances of winning the US Open after defeating the number 1 seed, Daniil Medvedev, yesterday. At North Point, overstocked with late model used cars ready for immediate delivery. It is the North Point way. Here's a little bit of what they had to say.
Nick Kyrgios, my mate, beat defending US Open champ Daniil Medvedev in 4 sets. It was a cracking game.
He played top tennis.
Yeah, he moves into the quarterfinals. I refuse to jump on the Kyrgios train.
Okay.
I refuse to. I want him to win. He's Australian. It'd be un-Australian for me not to. But I'm not going to start rooting for him, jumping on his bandwagon and going absolutely bunter, probably until he actually does win it.
Well, the thing about him is, and I tell you, my wife used to love tennis because she used to watch it with her grandma.
Yeah.
And she just said once they took a lot of the grass tournaments away, it just became a baseline smashing game.
Yes.
She loves watching him because you don't know what shot's coming next.
Yeah.
You don't know what's happening
that.
next, and I love that. And I watched it, and I tell you, the amount of drop shots he plays,
he's
out of the blue and for no reason. His talent is unquestioned, but it's been about the other stuff. He's starting to get that together. Medvedev himself said he played at a Djokovic level. Now that's a big rap.
I think anything short of him winning it now would be a disappointment. He's in form. He's the most informed player in the tournament. His record against the best is excellent and has been for the last number of years. And I hope he wins it. And I've been a fan of the Nick Kyrgios experience the whole way. But part of the problem we've had with him is the bloke hasn't lived up to his potential, and I reckon winning a major is living up to your potential.
He's quite a unique person because, for my mind, he seems to oscillate between being complete embarrassment and eminently likeable.
Yes.
And I don't know which one you're going to get. I mean, often you get both of them in the course of the same press conference or match. But, you know, I actually really hope he wins. And he's supremely entertaining to watch.
There's no doubt about that. He's currently on court at the moment. He and doubles partner Thanasi Kokkinakis on the court, third round doubles. They won the first set in this match 6-3. It's currently 6-all in the second. More tonight on the sports show. North Point overstocked with late model used cars ready for immediate delivery. It is the North Point way.
APIA's offering a 10% discount on new comprehensive car or home insurance. Because the more you save, the more you can enjoy retirement. Like taking salsa classes. That's APIA value. Call APIA today on 13 50 50 to discover even more ways to save. T's and C's apply. Offer available until 30 October 22. Some optional extras excluded from discount. APIA is an authorised representative of AAI Limited, the product issuer. Read the PDS before buying this insurance. Call for copy. TMD also available.
Meet the LDV T60 Max with 160 kilowatts of power. It's one hell of a ute with one hell of an engine. So if you want a hell of a lot of power, then you're in a hell of a lot of luck. Because the LDV T60 Max 4x4 diesel with 160 kilowatts is one hell of a deal. From just $34,990 for ABN holders. Visit a dealer today. LDV. Bring it on. T's and C's and exclusions at ldvautomotive.com.au.
When you die, who gets what? Will your kids or relatives argue over your estate? Will your beneficiaries be protected? Will your estate be tax effective? Will your wishes be respected and carried out? Speak with Donlan Lawyers now for peace of mind. Donlan Lawyers for wills and estate planning. Visit donlanlawyers.com. That's donlanlawyers.com.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Mostly sunny and 20 with the 7:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Don't miss 8 Audi bonus draws in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Deadline is midnight Friday.
Detectives are at a park home address after a body was found inside a home this morning. Just before 5, emergency crews were called to Condata Avenue where the victim had been found collapsed and unresponsive. Despite attempts to revive the person, they were declared dead at the scene. A member of the public has helped with the arrest of a man at Elizabeth Park. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson says police were called to Patterson Road around 11:30 last night.
After a member of the public detained another man for breaking into cars, so patrols attended and found 2 cars had been broken into and a board game had been stolen.
A 41-year-old man has been charged and will face court today. The Reserve Bank is tipped to lift interest rates by 0.5% when it meets today. It'll bring the official cash rate to above 2% in a bid to ease rising inflation. Market Economics Managing Director Stephen Koukoulos says further increases are likely.
My crystal ball is telling me that by February or March next year we'll be at the peak of the interest rate cycle. The Reserve Bank will probably hold them steady for a period of time as they just watch the effect of this go through the economy, and believe it or not, the possibility that by late 2023 interest rates will be coming back down.
State Parliament resumes today and all eyes will be on Planning Minister Nick Champion. The Opposition's Michelle Lensink says he must reveal the outcome of the taxpayer-funded review into the proposed redevelopment of the Brompton Gasworks site.
The Labor Party decided to snub their nose at Renewal SA's independent decision to award this proposal to MAB Corporation, and they now need to justify holding up such a significant affordable housing development to the people of South Australia.
Former political staffer Rochelle Miller will receive a $650,000 taxpayer-funded settlement. It includes legal and medical costs for hurt, distress and humiliation. Liberal frontbenchers Alan Tudge and Michaelia Cash are both named in the landmark no admissions settlement and deny claims of bullying and mistreatment. AFL great Wayne Carey's in hot water again. He's been dropped from Channel 7 and banned from Crown Resorts after being caught with a bag of white powder at its Perth casino. Carey has admitted the bag was his but denies it contained any illegal substance. Special flights will arrive in Sydney this morning to bring home stranded Australians in Bali. Jetstar's cancelled multiple flights, leaving as many as 4,000 Aussies stuck in the country longer than originally planned. The airline's chief pilot, Jeremy Schmidt, says there are a number of reasons why.
We would like to sincerely apologise for the inconvenience and frustration caused. A lightning strike, a bird strike, an item taxied over on the way up to the runway.
Police admit they have no idea where 2 fugitives are wanted over a killing spree in Canada. More from Jonathan Kersley.
Damien and Miles Sanderson have been on the run for more than 24 hours. Miles Sanderson had actually been wanted by police since May for breaching parole. Police believe the 2 men are behind yesterday's stabbing frenzy that left 10 people dead, 9 at an Indigenous community in the Saskatchewan province. Among the victims, widower Wes Peterson in the nearby town of Weldon. Ruby Works was a family friend.
He was a kind-hearted man. I don't know why they picked him.
People here are being told to remain in a secure place and not to pick up hitchhikers as the manhunt continues.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a Glider Roll roller door by September 30 and you could get free upgrades. Search Glider Roll for details.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide is stepping up its bid to lure Junior Rioli to the club after having him tour the club's facilities yesterday. Rioli is now back in Perth weighing up his options. Well, a combined 9 and stand bid for the AFL rights is expected to secure the league a mega AFL rights deal. 9 Newspapers is reporting Nine Entertainment has made an offer worth roughly $500 million a year, with Seven and Foxtel also negotiating. Hawthorn coach Sam Mitchell has weighed in and says the AFL is in a strong position to negotiate a great price.
But certainly, I think it's a perfect timing. I didn't think about it being leaked, but it's as good a round as footy as you'll see. So it's a good time to be negotiating from the AFL's part.
AFL great Matthew Lloyd is surprised Carlton has delisted Liam Stocker. Lloyd coached the 22-year-old defender at Hailbury College in 2017. He says Stocker didn't reach his potential but shouldn't have been cut.
I'm surprised, yeah. He can turn the footy over a little bit too often, Liam, but I would have thought that, yeah, he's good enough to be on an AFL list somewhere, so I'd be surprised if he's not playing somewhere else. So you just wonder if there's more to it than just his football, why he's not on the list.
The Blues have also parted ways with Will Hayes. And locally, North Adelaide's Aaron Young has won this year's Magarey Medal. The former Power and Gold Coast player telling Soundful Radio he always wanted to come back to the Roosters post his AFL career.
I just really wanted to enjoy my footy, and I knew coming back to Prospect and playing with those guys, I just have a great time.
And in some tennis to finish, Rafael Nadal's on the verge of being knocked out of the US Open, currently down 2-1 and now down a break deep in the fourth set against Francis Tiafoe. On the women's side, number 1 seed Iga Swiatek has come from a set down to beat Germany's Julie Niemeier in 3 sets. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
First National Real Estate. Their team of real estate experts will put you first.
At Glendore, urgent sewer works, Anzac Highway near South Road. Cavan, you'll find asphalt works today, Port Wakefield Road near Montague Road. That's affecting both directions. Wavell, expect delays around Greenhill and Goodwood Road later in the morning. That's due to the Royal Show. Speed's also down to 25 when the show's on, so keep that in mind. And camera-wise, got those today, Blacktop Road, One Tree Hill and Hart Street at Semaphore. Tomorrow's car is in stock today. Tech Drive, a Hyundai Tucson Turbo Diesel at your Hyundai dealer, and experience innovative tech and all-drive performance. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Peter Jackson Blinds and Awnings for stunning service and results. Adelaide Metro and Mount Barker. Search Peter Jackson Blinds.
Mostly sunny and 20 today. Rain tomorrow with the chance of a thunderstorm 18. Showers on Thursday 16. Easing on Friday also 16. At the moment 12. More news as it happens on 5AA.
G'day, it's Eddie May from NRG Solar. Don't you hate it when things are out of your control, like electricity prices? They're skyrocketing, and if you've just received your winter power bill, you'll know exactly what I mean. With NRG Solar on your roof, combined with battery storage, you could zero out those power bills altogether. Visit nrgsolar.com.au today and take control of your power bills for good. That's nrgsolar.com.au or visit our interactive showroom at 406 South Road at Richmond.
Gliderol has manufactured and installed garage doors in SA since 1974, and their commitment to quality is as strong as ever. So if it's time for a new look for your house or time to upgrade, why not now? Order a new roller door, sectional door or customer designer door with operator by September 30th and you'll receive a free premium operator upgrade and 2 bonus handsets. For a free measure and quote and helpful advice, search Gliderol today. Retail customers only, T's and C's apply.
Speak with One Solution and they'll tell you cybercrime is not a big business problem, a government problem or a small enterprise problem. It's everyone's problem. Ransomware, malware and adware remain the #1 threat. One call to One Solution will put your business in a safe place. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Get in touch with One Solution, winner of the National Telstra Customer Experience Award. onesolution.net.au.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
21 minutes to 8. I encourage you to stay listening over the course of the next 10 minutes because a new clue is being prepared in the grand final ticket competition. I see producer Sam with an envelope with Clue 2 written on it. That was the giveaway because nothing gets by me. So I think we will...
You really pieced it all together
today,
Will.
That's right. I'm a regular
early in the
Poirot.
morning to get your super sleuth goodings out.
That's coming up in just a moment. So however you watch it, whether you're on the RAA Facebook, YouTube live stream, on the app or listening on the radio, stay listening and get 8223 plugged in. We won't give you a chance to win it yet, but we will give you a chance to think about the clue in the next 10 minutes. Let's head to Canberra. Michael Packey's the national political editor for 9 Radio. Michael, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
We're good, thanks, Michael. I think like everyone else in Australia, we're going to be financially worse off in about 24 hours' time after the RBA jacks up interest rates again.
Look, David, that's pretty much right. I think the consensus is that the Reserve Bank will raise interest rates by probably 0.5%. That seems to be what most economists are expecting. It's going to be the 5th interest rate rise this year. And what it means for households, it's going to add another $100, in some cases maybe $200 to monthly mortgage repayments. And if you think about it, since rates started rising 5 months ago, there's some households now that are paying about $1,000 extra a month on their home loan, and this is where I do think the rubber is really going to hit the road on cost of living if it hasn't already done so. You've got this idea that's been talked about that the reason that we're raising interest rates is to try and bring down inflation. The Problem is that people are still having to spend money on essential items like food and fuel, and the cost of these goods is high. And once the fuel excise goes back to its normal level at the end of this month, well, you've got the cost of petrol increasing by around 20 cents a litre. So, you've got not only more being shelled out on your mortgage, but also you're shelling out more on necessary goods and service, not discretionary items, stuff that you actually need to buy to run your car, to run your household. So, there is going to be starting to be some pressure here on Labor and the Albanese government as they do start to navigate these cost of living issues.
I know the Reserve Bank's independent, Pac, but why isn't there more discussion in political circles about the way they've managed the communications around these rate increases? Because we were told hand on heart by the RBA a little more than 6 months ago there would definitely be no rate increases this year and probably none next year. And today they're doing their fifth in a row. Like, if that was any other form of punditry, I mean, my footy tips are 10 times better than this. That's just a woeful performance by the bank.
Look, I think that the bank has faced some criticism on this issue. Remember, you're right. About 2 years ago, the Reserve Bank was telling people, this is at the height of COVID, when the Reserve Bank was saying, oh, look, interest rates are unlikely to rise until 2024. And then, as you quite rightly say, all of a sudden things have changed, the global situation has changed, and they've had to start raising rates fairly rapidly, and and now we're hitting our fifth interest rate rise. Now, there is some argument that the Reserve Bank should have foreseen what's going on and should have started raising rates more gradually, probably about a year ago, and so maybe we wouldn't be in this situation now. There is a review that is being done into the Reserve Bank, and it'll be interesting to see what that does find. But the bottom line is that people are now starting to really hurt, and something needs to be done about it. I don't know what really the government can do, because its hands are tied to a certain extent, because some of what is happening is being driven by international factors. We've also had natural disasters like floods and that sort of thing. But there is that argument that inflation was already starting to creep up in other parts of the world, and that the Reserve Bank should have foreseen that it would eventually hit Australia and should have started gradually raising rates a long time ago. Got to keep in mind, that's what New Zealand was doing. New Zealand was starting to raise interest rates before Australia started to do so.
Absolutely.
Great analysis, Michael. Thank you. Michael Packey, the National Political Editor for 9 Radio. It's 16 minutes to 8.
'Cause there's one day in September we want to remember.
We have another clue for you. It's clue number 2. On the road to sending you to the Toyota AFL Grand Final. Flights, accommodation. It's all involved. It's all taken care of. You just need to tell us the person who's taking care of your tickets. We had one clue yesterday. We had a guess yesterday. Got another clue coming up for you right now. Sam's got an envelope with clue number 2 written on it. This is an AFL authorised GF promotion, GFAFL 22/106.
That makes it completely official.
It does, doesn't it?
What about that?
I wasn't sure we were really even doing this until that moment. Thought it was all for show. Anyway,
and Will has the envelope.
Clue 2, it says. Clue 2, if you're on the RAA live stream, there you go. Clue 2. I don't make up everything I talk about. Let's have a look here.
Only most of it.
Only most of it. Let's have a look here. Clue number 2. Clue number 2 is one word. Retired. Retired. Which is interesting. So, okay. That rules out. Yesterday, the guess was Travis Boak. Retired. It couldn't have been Travis Boak.
No.
So that's clue number 2 is retired. Have a think on that. We'll give you a chance to win.
It's quite a helpful
next
clue.
hour. Yeah, it rules out. Well, yeah, it gives you a whole other sphere of thinking, and gives you an era, sort of a period from which to think about. There's a lot in that. Retired is clue number 2.
See, I would presume retired does not mean dead.
No, I think you presume correctly.
Yeah.
So
a living former AFL player.
After 8 o'clock, there'll be your chance to have a guess on 5AA Breakfast to win the tickets. That's coming up next hour. Have a think about it. A couple of clues for people that heard yesterday as well.
Now, I've narrowed it down to about 28,000 people.
All right. Lucy's wandered in.
Ooh.
Oh, she's got a theme song.
This is the woman who sang Royals, isn't it?
Yes, Lord. That
Lord.
is New Zealand's own Lord.
Lord with an E.
With a tennis update, Rafael Nadal has just lost in the US Open in the fourth round men's single to America's Francis Tiafoe, 6-4, 4-6, 6-4, 6-3. Now, Tiafoe is the first American man to beat Nadal at a major in 17 years.
God.
Nick Kyrgios's record against Nadal's not great either, I think. Of all the top four guys, he's done pretty well against, but Nadal's has been a problem. So
Nadal is now out.
Nadal is out.
Therefore, Kyrgios will not need to face Nadal.
So Tiafoe, do we know, Luce, who else is still in the mix on the men's side of things?
I didn't get that far.
Okay,
I was too excited. But Nick Kyrgios, Kokkinakis are on court in their men's doubles. The third set has just started. Now, in the women, Ayla Tomljanovic plays Ons Jabeur at 3:30 a.m. in the quarterfinals.
Who do they play?
Ons Jabeur, women's quarterfinal.
You sure about that pronunciation?
Ons Jabeur.
I'm not really sure.
Yes, you are. I'm teasing.
3:30 a.m.
Didn't she sing Je ne regrette rien? Is that her? No, I'm thinking of Eve Piaf.
And currently on
Baku.
court, famous name Victoria Azarenka. She's seeded 26 at the moment. Currently on court in the fourth round of the women's singles. She's playing Karolina Pliskova, who's seeded 22nd. Now that score is Pliskova is up 7-5 in the first, 1-love in the second.
Little known fact, listeners might not be aware of this, Lucy, massive tennis fan. Absolute tennis diehard. So what's your attention level on the show been? Let's have a moment of honest reflection here today. Where are we at? Are you about 50%? You're at 80%?
I'm going to say an honest 50%.
Okay, you're at, yeah. Okay, no, that's fair.
Oh, that's strategically excellent with a big boss in town from Sydney today. Lisa, in your defence, I'd say you're doing better than Will and Tommy and I during a World Cup qualifier.
Yeah, well, we made the show about the World Cup qualifier.
That's right. Because there was nothing else going through our brains. How are we going to be in December when the Socceroos are playing?
Do you want Kyrgios to win, Luce?
I hope he does. I think it's great for Australian tennis, but I hope he tones back his ego.
I'm not sure those two things are possible at the same time.
No, they most certainly aren't, but we can all have wishful thinking some days.
We can live in hope. Absolutely. Good on you, Luce.
Thanks, Luce.
Tennis update.
We've had a late entry for Hero of the Week from Stacy. Good morning, Dave and Will. I think the women of the Country Women's Association should be the heroes of the week. They've been working so hard at the Royal Show, not just this week, but the last 2 weeks, not only making the traditional cups of tea, coffee and scones, but other menu items to sell and feed the multitudes of people at the Royal Show. Good on you, Stacey.
Good Hero of the Week.
Couldn't agree
nomination.
more. I've never seen so many people at the show. Unbelievable yesterday.
Another text on the Automasters text line regarding a bus that broken down in the right lane just before the Goodwood Road turning lane on Greenhill Road, heading east right near the car park for the show. So that one might be a problem for people trying to get in early and get a park for the show. Keep an eye on that. We'll check traffic more broadly now. Until your new BMW arrives, Adelaide BMW will help keep your current vehicle fueled. T's and C's apply.
Thanks, Will. Glandor urgent sewer works, Anzac Highway near South Road. At Cavan, we've got asphalt works on Port Wakefield Road near Montague Road. Wavell, expect delays around Greenhill and Goodwood Roads. That's later in the morning due to the Royal Show. Fair few pedestrians around there. And keep in mind, speeds go down to 25 when the show's on too. Camera-wise, look out for those. Cavan Road, Dry Creek and Great Terrace at Rosewater. Hungry? Head to a Porto for the Bondi Burger Box. Double Bondi Burger, 2 crispy chicken strips, snack chips, drink and dipping sauce. Just $16.95 at a Porto. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
I love. We remembered RAA road service, the new battery and tyres.
Yeah, we did.
But we forgot the tent.
Cabin.
Before you do the fun stuff, let RAA take care of the car stuff and
Keep on moving on.
And I love starting it up. And driving it. Whatever the car, whatever the part, find it, buy it, fix it on eBay. All at great prices.
If you've got to keep it cool, you need Budget Car and Truck Rentals, especially if you're in business. Budget Car and Truck Rentals have a fleet of refrigerated vans, trucks and cool rooms standing by to keep your business in business. Transporting or storing flowers, chocolate and all fresh produces. Keep it cool in a refrigerated van, truck or cool room from Budget Car and Truck Rentals. Oh, great for parties too. Call 13 27 27. That's 13 27 27.
Now, this was great fun. We love a South Australian success story, and that's exactly what Bob Burns Blinds is. I feel like I grew up with Bob Burns blinds.
You did? Pretty much across the road.
Well, that's right. Though the big bright sign there down at the eastern end of Celtic Avenue near Old Marion High. But look, the man himself, Bob Burns, been part of South Australian life for so long. He made his first blind in 1954, and how's this? His family, they are still manufacturing there at the exact same site in St Mary's, which you and I were lucky enough to tour only a week ago.
Nothing gives you confidence when you buy from a place and you can walk out the back and go, oh, this is where you make them, as opposed to this is where you store them when you bought them from somewhere else.
We met some of the people who are working there on the production, saw all the amazing state-of-the-art equipment that they've got.
And then, so if anything needs to ever to be fixed up, changed, or you want to do something different, they go out the bank and go, okay, let's make it happen.
Yeah, it's all done there. They're all local people.
There's a new generation too, which is really exciting. We've got to meet Russell and Belinda, along with their highly qualified staff, making a formidable team of passionate people.
And look, as Will said, they do it all. Exterior blinds, interior blinds, curtains, motorisation. They've even got security doors and obviously also beautiful plantation shutters.
And because nearly everything is manufactured on site, they can have your roller blinds measured up, made and installed in just 10 days.
And look, you could be waiting up to 3 months with other companies, but because Bob Blinds manufacture here, you can have yours in just 10 days. That's the Bob Burns 10-day promise. Visit bobburnsblinds.com.au.
Need a forklift? Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Toyota is the world's #1 forklift brand, with a great range of pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts, right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options, Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota forklift advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Get a Toyota forklift. City Discount Tires.
For the best advice and price on tyres and mechanical, see City Discount Tires. With local deals on the world's biggest and best brands in tyres, wheels, suspension and parts for four-wheel drive, SUVs and passenger cars. Finance available. Find your nearest dealer at citydiscounttires.com.au. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodis.
7 to 8. We want you to review the show for us. We're 3 days in now. Tens of thousands of people have been through. If you've been there, give us a review and win yourself a Gummersil wine pack. We've got 5 packs to give away. Wonderful wine. 8223 0000. Call in right now. First 5 reviews of the Royal Show will win a Gummersil wine pack. You can review anything. You can review the pricing, the food, like they did in the Tizer, like Sophie Penberthy did in the Tizer this morning. Food review extraordinaire, following in her father's footsteps.
Yeah. So much for our family's reputation for being obsessed with haute cuisine. But the first thing my daughter's reviewed in the paper is a foot-long Dagwood dog.
You might want to review the rides, the whole experience, the parking, whatever it might be. Whatever it is, give us a review of the show 3 days in. It's been years out of action because of COVID, so it's come back. Tell us what you did or didn't like about your experience going back. 8223 0000. First 5 callers win a Gummersil wine pack.
The reviews are still coming in for Wayne Carey's efforts overnight. You know you're in strife as a public figure when immediately the entire community switches straight to ridicule. There is no sympathy. It's just become the butt of gags like this one. Maybe Rafael Nadal needs some of Wayne's anti-inflammatory powder. That's a good one. And and Jane says, maybe if Wayne Carey's looking for a new job, he could become a comedian because the crushed up inflammatory story is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jane.
There's a few people that are of that persuasion on the Automasters text line this morning. 8223 0000. Gummersil wine pack could be yours. Review the show for us. 8223 0000. And we'll get to some of those in just a moment. First, John Blake, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
The Office of the Minister for Transport, Infrastructure, Energy and Mining, the Honourable Anastasius Koutsantonis.
I'm very busy, Steve. What is it?
The Premier's here to see you.
Why didn't you tell me?
I am telling you.
Well, give me some warning next time. What are you
Well, I
thinking?
didn't know he was coming, did I?
Well, do some bloody homework. I'm not prepared for the Premier.
All right, I'll tell him you can't see him. He can't see you now, Premier.
No, don't tell him that bloody... Oh, Peter.
G'day, Tom. What's going on?
Oh, nothing. I was just doing some research for the... I was just dealing with some constituent issues.
Okay. Can I come in?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Sorry about the mess.
God, what happened in here?
Oh, we had some. Well, I was rearranging some furniture, and
wow.
So the announcement of the have a seat the new aquatic centre at North Adelaide. That stirred them up a bit.
Yeah, it could be a big one for us. That one. Let's not stuff it up.
No. Well, no. Are we going to be seeing photos of you with your shirt off for the entire time this thing's being built, or?
No, I hope not.
Yeah, me too. I mean, there's probably other things they could. But by the way, people are having a go at us for government fees and taxes making housing unaffordable. But we're spending billions of dollars on hospitals and power stations and aquatic centres and. I'm not sure what to...
Yeah, but without those government fees and taxes, we couldn't afford to build anything.
Yeah, I know, that's what I tell them, but they won't listen to reason. It's not as if some fairy godmother appears with a magic wand and says, I'll build you an aquatic centre and it won't cost you anything.
Tom.
And we'll make it available for everybody to use, and we'll demolish the old one and return it to parklands, and we'll pay for all of it.
See you later, Tom.
Yeah, like that ever happens.
On you, Keats.
More from John Blake coming up after 8:30 when we go behind closed doors. Sir Keir Starmer, we spoke about at 7 o'clock. Why is he a sir? You be the judge whether this is legit or not. He's been a human rights defence lawyer. This is the leader of the Labor Party in the UK. We're wondering, he didn't get it by birth, so we can strike that off from the record. He was a human rights defence lawyer, QC, big time in the legal profession, but none bigger than in 2008 when he was named the new head of the Crown Prosecution Service and the DPP for the entire country, basically. That role comes with a knighthood. You get it, you get the job for 5 years, and you get a knighthood.
That's absurd.
So he is a sir because
he's doing his job.
Because of his job.
He's particularly good at being a lawyer.
Yep.
That's
why he's a sir.
How about people really good at being plumbers? Why don't they get a knighthood?
Well, that's a very good question.
That's more important, arguably, unplugging your S-Pen than pouncing around on the world stage being a sophist.
Well, I think he was more, locking up crims.
Oh, yeah? Well,
in that role than his earlier one.
Still like a working toilet. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to say, absolutely right.
Where's Sir Ken Hall?
Both. We need both. Wouldn't it be good? Crime and crap free. 8:50.
G'day, it's Baz from FIVEAA Milk Company. Just wanted to let you know that we're doing all we can to get behind our local dairy farmers. They've been doing it tough for a long time. Remember, when you buy FIVEAA Milk Company products, you're making a difference. So keep up the good work, SA. Look for FIVEAA Milk Company products in your supermarket. 3 words make all the difference. FIVEAA Milk Company. South Australian first and proud of it.
Hey, it's Callum here in the kitchen for Edwardstown Mazda. Now, Dave, the used vehicle manager here at Edwardstown Mazda, tells me he's an early riser, plays golf when he can, loves to cook, and I hear he's a bit of a Mexican food lover. So, just for Dave and the used vehicle team here at Edwardstown Mazda, I thought I'd put together some fish tacos with pineapple salsa. You can download the recipe at edwardstownmazda.com.au, and if you're looking for a quality used vehicle, Dave's your guy.
It's gotta be.
Now, Lidham's Dental, they tell us that many people lose confidence from having damaged or rotten teeth or an unattractive smile.
Yeah, people who feel this way often are very uncomfortable during job interviews or going on a date. It can be quite paralysing, really. So if you're a self-conscious person, you know exactly what we're talking about. There was even a father that Lidham's Dental dealt with who was extremely anxious about walking his daughter down the aisle.
Well, the good news, though, is that Lidham's Dental can change all of that for you, and they can change it fast. They can help with their teeth in a day, transforming smiles and lives. Lidham's Teeth in a Day is simple and comfortable, and they also offer ways of making it affordable too.
And it only takes a day. Imagine a new smile, a new you in just 24 hours. For more on Teeth in a Day, visit lidhamsdental.com.au.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Most
Mostly sunny and 20. With the 8 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brattick.
Don't miss 8 Audi bonus draws in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Deadline is midnight Friday.
One of the suspects in a mass stabbing in Canada has been found dead. 11 victims have now been confirmed killed. Another 19 are injured when 2 men carried out the attacks. Police Chief Evan Bray says another suspect remains at large.
As far as the ongoing investigation goes, we are still operating under the impression that Miles is in the city of Regina. It's unknown at this time who the other person in the vehicle was, if that was indeed Miles that was in there.
A person has been found collapsed and unresponsive at a park home address this morning. Senior Constable Kylie Simpson says police and paramedics were called to Condada Avenue just before 5.
Despite attempts at the scene to revive the person, they sadly died.
Police remain at the scene. Exactly what happened is now under investigation. The Reserve Bank is poised to lift interest rates to above 2% when it meets today. It'll place more cost of living pressure on Australian households. Market Economics Managing Director Stephen Kakoulos says it's hoped inflation will be under control by early next year.
The good news will be that if we do in fact find that, say by the end of this year or early in 2023, that the economy does slow down a little bit as the RBA's aim to achieve, then that'll be the end of the interest rate hiking cycle. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting sort of pretty close.
The UK opposition leader's already heaping pressure on the incoming Prime Minister. Liz Truss has won the ballot to replace Boris Johnson as leader of the governing Conservative Party. UK Labour leader Keir Starmer says she needs to deal with the cost of living crisis, the crumbling health system and rising energy prices.
She needs to show that she actually understands and can meet the challenges that are there after 12 years of failure of this Tory government.
AFL great Wayne Carey's found himself embroiled in yet another scandal after being caught with a bag of white powder at a Perth casino. More from Christina Hearn.
Wayne Carey was gambling at Crown Casino in Perth last Thursday night when a Ziploc bag containing a white powder fell out of his pocket. Security was called and the 51-year-old admitted the powder was his. He's been banned from Crown for 2 years and was evicted from the Crown Hotel where he was staying. Last night, Carey insisted the white powder was not illegal and instead was crushed up anti-inflammatory drugs. The football great was in Perth to commentate the Fremantle Bulldogs clash. Channel 7 have stood him down pending an investigation.
Former Liberal staff member Rochelle Miller will receive a $650,000 taxpayer-funded payout. It's for damage and loss suffered while she worked for former Liberal cabinet ministers. Alan Tudge and Michaelia Cash are both named in the landmark no admission settlement as they continue to deny claims of bullying and mistreatment. The nation's medical regulator has launched a new hotline for people who've been harmed by dodgy cosmetic surgery. The number, which can be contacted confidentially, has been established in response to a recent review which found widespread misconduct across the industry. The Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Agency's Martin Fletcher says patients and practitioners can make reports.
If they don't tell us, we don't know what's going on, and if we don't know what's going on, we can't investigate and act. It's a really important part of making the cosmetic surgery industry safer by having a safe way that people can tell us when they have concerns.
And the hotline number's 1300 261 041. A memorial service will be held this evening in Melbourne for entertainer Judith Durham. More from Gail Watson.
A state memorial service to honour and celebrate the life of Judith Durham is being held at Hamer Hall in Melbourne tonight. Judith Durham passed away on August 5th. She was 79. Best known as the lead singer of The Seekers, they released their first album, Introducing the Seekers, in 1963. Over the next few years, they delivered chart-topping music from I'll Never Find Another You in 1964 to Georgie Girl in 1966. The service commences at 7 p.m. and is expected to run for about an hour and 45 minutes. You can also watch the service live on the internet via the Victorian Government website.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a Gliderol roller door and operator by September 30 for some free upgrades. Search Gliderol for details.
And Tom, some big news in the tennis.
Absolutely massive, Kendall. You're right. At the US Open, four-time champion Rafael Nadal has been knocked out in the fourth round. Craig Gabriel has more.
Francis Tiafoe had tears streaming down his face, not because he was sad, more like he was in a bit of shock. He just scored the biggest win of his career by beating Rafa Nadal 6-4, 4-6, 6-4, 6-3 to reach the US Open quarters. Going into the match, Tiafoe had said he was up for this one and was ready to beat Nadal. He'll play Andrei Rublev, who beat Cam Norrie. Also through today, Iga Swiatek and Jessica Pegula.
Now it opens up the singles draw with Nadal going out with Nick Kyrgios, the favourite to win the event. He's currently playing in doubles action with South Aussie Thanasi Kokkinakis. The pair had match points in the second set. They failed to convert those. They were down a break of serve in the third set, but they've just broken back and now lead 5-4 in the deciding set. To football, and Junior Rioli could be on his way to Alberton after meetings with club officials yesterday. He's out of contract, but the Power and West Coast would still need to work out a trade. Meantime, Aaron Young has won this year's Magarey medal count after winning by a single vote ahead of Norwood's Nick Rokar. To cricket, and Australian captain Aaron Finch is under pressure to perform when the Aussies host New Zealand. That's in the first of 3 one-day internationals, with Game 1 being played today in Cairns. To basketball, the Opals have landed on the Gold Coast for their final training camp ahead of the Women's Basketball World Cup later this month. And in some soccer action, the Matildas are out to level their 2-match series against Canada tonight in Sydney. Meantime, the group stages of the European Champions League will begin early tomorrow morning our time, with Ange Postecoglou's Celtic set to come up against Spanish giants Real Madrid. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
First National Real Estate. Their team of real estate experts will put you first.
At Glandor, we've got urgent sewer works, Anzac Highway near South Road. At Fullerton, you'll find intersection works continuing on Crossroad at Fullerton Road, slow going through there. Wavell, expect delays around Greenhill and Goodwood Road. That's later in the morning due to the Royal Show. Take care, speeds are down to 25.2 when the show is on, so keep that in mind. And we've got Cameras, Days Road, Croydon Park, and Old Port Wakefield Road at Virginia. Ultratune has won the CanStar Car Servicing Award for customer satisfaction and value for money for the 4th year running. Call or search Australia's #1 Ultratune today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Peter Jackson Blinds and Awnings for stunning service and results. Adelaide Metro and Mount Barker. Search Peter Jackson Blinds.
Mostly sunny and 20 today. Rain tomorrow with a chance of a thunderstorm 18. Showers on Thursday 16 and easing on Friday also 16. At the moment 13. More news as it happens on 5AA.
We love our new home, but it's north facing so we get lots of sunshine, which is a no-no for vampires like us. Thankfully, Tintacar's home window tinting protects us from the sun, glare and heat without having to live in the shadows. And it protects us from nosy neighbors too. Perhaps we should invite the Thompsons over for dinner. For sun, heat and privacy protection, invite Tintacar into your home. Head to tintacar.com.au.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
9 minutes after 8, Breaking 8's coming up in just a moment. We're expecting breaking news at any point either today or in the next few days regarding the AFL rights deal. We're going to be speaking with a journalist at News Limited who has reported in the last 24 hours that a deal is imminent, albeit there's some late money that's come from Channel 9. What's the motivation behind that? What's the sum that the AFL will ultimately rake in? And will you be able to watch it on free-to-air television?
That's the number one question I reckon a lot of our listeners will have, because one of the things that they love about, and it's the work that you do, Will, like, you know, with Rowie and with Timmy G, calling Crows games, calling Port games. There's a lot of people out there who've got a transistor radio in their shed or on the kitchen bench, and they've got a free-to-air television. And for them, they don't use Netflix. They don't know what Stan is. They don't have Apple TV. They don't have any type of web-driven consumption of media. They listen to us, free commercial radio, subsidised through our own efforts by generating advertising. But you don't have to pay. You don't have to subscribe to 5AA. And you don't have to subscribe to Channel 7 or Channel 9, because they also use advertising as their business model. So what that means is that historically there's a whole bunch of people in this country who like the idea that at 2 o'clock on a Saturday or at 7:30 on a Saturday night you can tune in to 1395 5AA, or you can just turn on the old idiot box and there's your footy. They regard that, understandably, almost as a fundamental right. Now, the idea that Amazon or Disney or someone else who has made billions and billions of dollars out of streaming services is going to get their... It was like a few years ago, I had to watch the World Cup. I had to get this Optus app. Total pain in the butt. The damn thing didn't even work, and it cost me like $12 a month. And then I forgot to delete it from my phone. And after a year and a half, I'd spent $150 on something I hadn't even used.
It's going to look like, I think, a pretty traditional sort of a broadcast deal, all said and done. There was some conjecture about what Saturdays might look like, but we'll dive into that after 8:30 today and bring you up to speed with the latest, because as we say, there could be a deal at any point today. Time for Breaking at 8. When we come back, we have clue number 2 and chance number 2 for you to win tickets to the AFL Grand Final.
We're reading up for this Breaking at 8. I have the words of my colleague Will Goodings ringing in my ears. A couple of weeks ago, Will, you made a throwaway comment about the environment in which gambling companies now operate in Australia. In a few years' time from now, people will probably look back on it and think it was total Wild West frontier stuff where any form of advertising was permitted. You know, you tell people you got to bet with your mates. You're missing out on the thrill of watching sport if you haven't spent money betting on it. The number of people in public life who are prepared to actually go near this issue, though, you can almost count them on one hand. There's been no push from the major parties at the federal level to look at acting at all against this sort of freewheeling environment that the big online gambling companies can operate in. Well, there's 2 federal MPs who are kicking that trend. One is the independent MP from Tasmania, Andrew Wilkie, and the other, and this is interesting, it's our own Rebecca Sharkey up there in the Adelaide Hills, who has sort of buddied up with Andrew Wilkie on the gambling question. Late yesterday, Mr Wilkie introduced a private member's bill, anti-money laundering financing amendment, brackets making gambling businesses accountable, and the bill was seconded by the member for Mayo, Rebecca Sharkey. So what this bill would do is it puts an obligation on gambling companies to report any suspicious transactions to AUSTRAC. Now, these are the people who monitor things like funding of terrorist organisations or tax avoidance, large-scale theft, money laundering, because Mr Wilkie says that there are plenty of instances where gambling companies should be wise enough and aware enough to realise that there are people or entities who are paying for a gambling service with money that they've obtained illegally, that large amounts of money are effectively being laundered through giant bets. Now, the guy who's inspired a lot of the work that Andrew Wilkie, with the support of Rebecca Sharkey, has done on this, is a bloke called Gavin Fineff. He's a former financial advisor. He was absolutely loaded, this bloke. Guess how much money he lost? And not his money, clients' money. So people have come to him to invest money sensibly for their retirements, their super. He spent $8 million. $8 million of his clients' money on gambling, and says now that he was targeted by 3 of Australia's biggest betting agencies and that they use predatory practices to take advantage of his gambling addiction. So 2 MPs out of 152 might not be a groundswell, but given the level of community concern about this, it's interesting that Mr Wilkie's having a crack, particularly with the assistance of a local South Australian MP.
15 minutes after 8, 8223 is our number. You can call us too on the Automasters text line. Stay listening. Your chance to win tickets to the AFL Grand Final are just minutes away. 2 clues have been revealed. Chance to win the tickets is coming up very, very soon. Let's talk about some of the other things going on around the world as we speak, including the Duchess of Sussex giving her first speech in the UK since leaving the royal family. She addressed the One Young World Summit in Manchester with husband Prince Harry.
It is very nice to be back in the UK. And it is very nice to be back with all of you at One Young World. I am thrilled that my husband is able to join me here this time. To be able to see and witness firsthand my respect for this organization, this incredible organization, and all that it provides as well as accomplishes.
No problem with Meghan Markle advocating causes, just not herself. Marks a nice change.
We haven't heard the whole speech yet.
That's true. You're right. It was only 27 seconds. Speaking of things in the UK, I don't know what your knowledge of contemporary music's like, and in fact, the reality is it's totally irrelevant in asking this question. The song that's been named the UK Song of the Summer, do you know what it would be? The Song of the UK Summer, the most popular song in the UK.
It would be something by Dua Lipa.
You can go back a little bit further and go back to someone that's inspired a number of your karaoke performances. They love these kind of markers in the UK. You have the official song of Christmas, the one that sells the most albums over that period of time. They do it for summer as well. Running Up That Hill, the 1985 Kate Bush song.
Hounds of Love, great record.
That then peaked at number 3. Has somehow found newfound popularity, 37 years later. Was the most downloaded song of the summer, 42,000 sales. It was streamed 86.6 million times between June and August, more than any other song. So they can track now literally every song that everyone's listening to. Nobody listened to any song more than Kate Bush's 1985 Running Up That Hill. And of course, the reason behind all this is because of the Netflix hit Stranger Things, the television show that brought it back, played it in the show. People loved it so much that it's been on everyone's playlist for 3 months.
Don't just listen to the song, listen to the album, because it's one of those albums, The Hounds of Love, that... similar to like from around the same time, Roxy Music's Avalon. If you listen to that whole record, The Hounds of Love, all the way through, it's just such a superbly constructed piece of work. And she was famous, Kate Bush, for being such a perfectionist that the gaps between her albums was immense. When you compare it to like a Taylor Swift, where there's an album coming out every year, sometimes even more than that. But The Hounds of Love, that song Cloud Bursting on it is, I reckon, better than Running Up That Hill. Brilliant.
Imagine a song being released today, being moderately popular, and then in 2059 is suddenly the most popular song in the world.
Yeah, but how good for Kate Bush?
It's fantastic.
I
love it.
Some house in Dorset, with chooks and nice
The check
garden.
came in.
Yeah,
is the decimal point in the right spot
It's
here?
APRA again. You got another $1 million. Oh, you beauty.
Taylor Jones for 10 News First here in Adelaide is at Parkholme this morning. There's been a police press conference regarding an unresponsive body that was found in a house. Taylor, what have we learned about this story?
Yeah, morning, guys. Look, it's all very much sort of unfolding at the moment. We know, yes, a woman was found unresponsive this morning. Paramedics were called and they were working on her, and unfortunately she couldn't be revived. That woman has passed away. Now, there was a 34-year-old man in the house as well. He's been assisting police with inquiries. Just now, a man has been taken out of the home as well and put into, I believe, a detective car. So whether this is the person in question, we're not sure yet. It's very much a, like I said, unfolding situation. Forensic officers here, they're heading into the house at the moment in a very heavy police presence.
Yeah, it's quite mysterious. So are there any details yet, Taylor, around, like, do we know the cause of death? Was it a domestic violence scenario? Is there any details along those lines?
No, not yet. And understandably, police have been sort of pretty tight-lipped on those details. They wouldn't rule out any details either. We questioned whether any injuries were present. They couldn't give us any information on that. So really, all we know at this stage is that this woman was found unresponsive and has since passed away.
How notable, Taylor, having someone who goes to these police press conferences a fair bit, is the lack of information. Is it stand out?
It really is. Yeah. At the moment, we're sort of trying to piece together, speaking with neighbours as well, who do give us a little bit to help piece the story together. But yeah, at the moment, as far as what we're getting from detectives, it's very tightly kept, all the information at the moment. But also bearing in mind that this has all happened fairly recently, so I think there's still a lot of aspects that they're piecing together themselves.
Well, we'll await further details on that. Intriguing. Taylor, thank you. Taylor Jones at Parkholme for 10 News First here in Adelaide. 20 minutes after 8, we're going to check traffic and potentially, who knows, maybe next, give away AFL Grand Final tickets. Charge this number into your phone, 8223 0055. Don't call yet, I'll tell you when, but when we say, make sure you push that button and get calling, because it could be you that's off to the Grand Final, so long as you can tell us who's got your tickets. You've had some clues, your chance to win's next. Here's traffic, thanks to the excellent people at BMW, Adelaide BMW, in fact, who'll keep your current vehicle fueled. T's and C's apply.
Thanks, Will. At Glandor, look out for urgent sewer works there. Anzac Highway near South Road. At Cavan, asphalt works on Port Wakefield Road near Montague Road. That's affecting both directions, speeds at 25. Wayville, expect delays around Green Hill and Goodwood Road a little bit later in the morning. That's for the Royal Show. A lot of pedestrians around there, and speeds actually drop to 25 when the show's on, so keep that in mind. And look out for a camera today, Anglevale Road at Anglevale. If you're heading to South Australia's biggest reunion, the Royal Adelaide Show, pop in your local Foodland before you head to the showgrounds and pre-purchase your tickets to enjoy some mighty savings. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
We remembered RAA road service, the new battery and tyres.
Yeah, we did.
But we forgot the tent.
Cabin.
Before you do the fun stuff, let RAA take care of the car stuff and
Keep on moving on.
Question, but it's been about the other stuff. He's starting to get that together.
Rowie and Timmy G.
Medvedev himself said he played at a Djokovic level. Now that's a big rap.
4 p.m. weekdays on 5AA.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easy for property investors and the tenants of their properties. Everyone is treated with integrity and respect. That's the Lynn Andrews way. For commercial and residential property management, we are here to help. Visit lynandrews.com.au.
Hi ladies, Heather from Joyreen Fashions. Our final trading day is Saturday, September 24th, and there are further incredible reductions to clear our stock. All winter, spring and summer garments are $29. Yes, all $29. Special occasion half price. There is still plenty to choose for just $29, so hurry in. Final trading day September 24th, Joyreen Fashions closing sale, 491 Portrush Road, Glenunga.
See out the year with some fresh window furnishings from Rundle Blinds and Curtains, Adelaide's premier window furnishings company. For a limited time, you can enjoy 20% off all blinds, awnings and shutters and 10% off all custom-made curtains.
Rundle Blinds is Luxaflex's most awarded store nationally, winner of the prestigious Gallery of the Year no less than 5 times, which is an outstanding result.
5 times was how Stephen Rowe would introduce them. Ian, Sam and the team will take care of you to ensure you get the perfect results to suit your home and lifestyle. Plus, right now, enjoy 20% off all blinds, awnings and shutters and 10% off all custom-made curtains.
Visit their fantastic showroom at Kings Park. Call them on 8274 1210 or check out their great website, rundleblinds.com.au.
Rundle Blinds and Curtains, your local award-winning Luxaflex gallery dealer.
G'day, it's Eddie May from NRG Solar here. Everything is going up. We're seeing it in fuel, interest rates, in our everyday shop, even the humble lettuce. But there's one thing that's really going to bite. It's the hike in electricity, and it's not going away unless you do something about it. At NRG Solar, we'll show you how to zero out your energy bills with NRG solar panels and battery storage. So get in touch with NRG Solar today and start saving. Visit nrgsolar.com.au.
City Discount Tires.
For the best advice and price on tyres and mechanical, see City Discount Tyres. With local deals on the world's biggest and best brands in tyres, wheels, suspension and parts for four-wheel drive, SUVs and passenger cars. Finance available. Find your nearest dealer at citydiscounttyres.com.au. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
25 minutes to past 8. They are the biggest tickets you can ever get your hands on.
'Cause there's one day in September we want to remember.
AFL Grand Final tickets. We have them here at the station.
We got them.
Yeah. So we're giving them away, though. You need to tell us the AFL player that's got carriage of your tickets. It's just taking care of them for us. We don't just leave them hanging around, sitting on a desk, so any schmuck could pick them up.
It's not Wayne Carey, is it? If he had the tickets, he'd keep them in a Ziploc bag.
Well, either that or they'd fall out of his pocket when he's playing blackjack or something, and we can't afford that. We need better security than that. So yes, we can rule out
South Australian.
We can rule out Wayne Carey. Who is it that's got your tickets? 8223 0055 is the number. Call right now and tell us if you think you know who it is. Remember, it's not just the tickets, flights, accommodation. This is your weekend. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Now, it could go off in the next few moments. We've had 2 clues that have narrowed the field down significantly, but far from making it obvious.
I'm going to repeat them. He's a South Australian retired footballer.
South Australian
Yes.
retired.
Yes.
8223 0055. You could win the tickets today. If not, you know the drill. We've done this before. We go to tomorrow with another clue that'll narrow the field down again. This morning, the chance to win the grand final tickets is going to Golden Grove, where Mark has called in. Good morning to you, Mark.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
We're good, thanks, Mark. We wish you all the very best of luck, mate. And obviously, with the caveat that getting through this early is a bit of a more of a curse than a blessing.
You won't be judged. Hey, who's your footy team, Mark?
Port Adelaide.
Okay.
You ever been to a granny, mate?
Yeah, I've been to a couple.
Which one did you like the best? Sorry.
Yeah, 2004 was my favourite.
Yeah, of course it
That
was.
figures.
Great win.
Okay, so tell us who you think has got the tickets.
Would it be Shane Edwards?
Titch. Shane Edwards, South Australian.
And retired this year?
He retired, last week? Week before last?
Yeah.
No,
It
bad
is
luck,
not
Mark.
Shane Edwards. Sorry, Mark. Not a bad guess. Wonderful
was a
career he
good
had.
guess.
Wonderful career going across to Richmond. Part of one of their greatest eras. Absolutely.
Yep.
Not Shane Edwards though, but satisfies the clues.
Yeah, it was a correct answer, but there could be, there would be many others
Yes.
in that same category.
Another
right
clue
now.
coming up tomorrow morning on 5AA Breakfast. Remember, if you listen throughout the morning, you get a couple of benefits. You'll get the clue earlier, and you can start factoring it into your thinking. But also, we'll give you plenty of warning when it's coming up, so you can get that number prepared and in your phone, so you can be part of the action. Now, we're going to talk a bit more about football and how you'll be watching it in the future, not by way of being at the ground, but by the way of the footy rights. The News Limited journalist who's been covering this and provided some real insight overnight will be our guest on the other side of 5AA News. So we'll talk rights and how you'll be watching footy into the future in just a few moments' time. A really upset Lucy Loken out in the producer's booth, just reporting in my ear that the Special Ks, she loves Special K, not the cereal, the tennis players, Nick Kyrgios and Thanasi Kokkinakis have just lost the doubles in a third set tiebreak at the US Open, which I think disappointing for Thanasi, but will allow Nick to focus entirely on singles now, where Rafael Nadal having dropped out, he was firm favourite to take out his first Grand Slam. All right, let's go to 5AA News. Back in a moment.
You know what? When I worked at Mitchie's back in the day, I was considered the fourth diamond. Funny that was true. What is true, though, is the opening of the new Mitsubishi showroom at Wayville. It's been a while in the making, but I tell you what, it is totally worth it. You won't see or experience anything like it in SA. It is groundbreaking. So if you're buying a Mitsubishi or you're getting your car serviced, please head to Wayville Mitsubishi. It's now open opposite the showground, driven by Australian Motors.
Jason Clark from Simons Clark Logistics talks about One Solution and how they streamlined his business.
We were lacking an integrated approach to our IT. We needed support and to future-proof our business. Security was also a concern for us. One Solution assessed and designed a new reliable, failure-safe solution for our business. Combined with the local help desk, IT support at Simons Clark is now in a great position for the future.
Visit onesolution.net.au, winner of the National Telstra Customer Experience Award.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube.
This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Mostly sunny and 20 with the 8:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Don't miss 8 Audi bonus draws in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Deadline is midnight Friday.
Detectives are investigating after a woman's body was found in a Parkholme house this morning. Just before 5, emergency crews were called to Condada Avenue, where the victim was found collapsed and unresponsive. Despite attempts to revive the 51-year-old, she died at the scene. A 34-year-old man who also lives at the premises is assisting police. One of the suspects in the stabbing murders of 11 people in Canada has been found dead. Police have confirmed another 19 people have been injured. The body of the 31-year-old suspect's been found, but his brother remains on the run. Special flights are arriving in Sydney, bringing home hundreds of Australian families stuck in Bali. Jetstar's blaming lightning and bird strikes for the cancellation of multiple services. Dominic and Maurice Dooley have been stuck in Indonesia with their 3 children for 6 days and say it's taking a toll on the whole family.
The kids want to get back to school, they want to get back to sport, we all want to get back to work, and I just feel that there's been no care for us whatsoever, no compassion, no empathy, nothing like that. So it's incredibly upsetting, uncomfortable.
Wayne Carey has been stood down from his media duties after being caught with a bag of white powder at Crown Casino in Perth. The bag fell out of his pocket as he was gambling at the casino on Thursday night. He was immediately escorted from the venue and banned for 2 years. But Carey claims the bag contained crushed up anti-inflammatory drugs. The federal government's being urged to reassess its spending to tackle current inflationary pressures. Australia's central bank is poised to lift the official interest rate for a 5th consecutive month to 2.35%. Shadow Assistant Treasurer Stuart Roberts says Labor needs to take action.
A cost of living package should start by the government actually looking at its 3 measures. It's $43 billion in off-balance sheet spending, and send that to the Productivity Commission for a proper review. That might be a really good start for this government in terms of addressing its expenditure.
The Albanese government's congratulated Liz Truss on becoming the new British Prime Minister. She won the Conservative Party vote to replace Boris Johnson, who was forced to resign after a series of scandals. It'll be her job to try and unite a bitterly divided party and lead a country which is struggling with high cost of living. Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong is wishing her well.
I had the opportunity to speak to Liz at the G20. I appreciated that. I appreciated also her early call to us after we won the election. And Australia very much appreciates her public indication she wants to work closely with Australia and other partners.
Prince Harry and Meghan have taken to the stage for a youth conference in Manchester, their first joint working visit to England since quitting the royal family. More from Tracy Vo.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex received a huge applause as they entered the hall. The opening ceremony for the One Young World Summit was being held in Manchester. Meghan delivering the keynote speech focusing on perseverance, but also revealing some personal details that she draws inspiration from her own children. The last summit the Duchess attended was in London in 2019. This time around, her husband Prince Harry was by her side. They now head to Germany to mark 1 year until the Invictus Games.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Order a Glider Roll roller door by September 30 and you could get free upgrades. Search Glider Roll for details.
And Tom Wren, the upsets keep coming at the US Open.
Yeah, they do. Unfortunately, not a good one this time for us. Kendall, Nick Kyrgios and Thanasi Kokkinakis have just lost their round of 16 doubles clash against Lloyd Glasspool and Harry Heliavara. The Special Ks had match points in the second set, but were unable to convert, losing the match in a third set tiebreaker.
What a win that is for Glasspool and Heliavara, the number 11 seeds. They take down the very popular 8 seeds, Kokkinakis and Kyrgios.
Audio there thanks to Channel 9. Now Kyrgios can now concentrate though on the singles where there's been a huge upset this morning. Rafael Nadal going down in 4 sets to local Francis Tiafoe. To football, Richmond will today decide whether Jack Riewoldt will play on next season. Coach Damien Hardwick has told Fox Footy he'll speak to Riewoldt in a few hours' time.
We've got a great understanding about where we're at now, but more importantly, where we need to take the club to move forward. And the jumper and the man in the jumper is important, but the jumper is the first and foremost thing we're thinking about when we're making decisions. So that is a business decision, but there's also the human element of what this guy means to us. So we'll make it a collective decision. There might be a collective argument.
Former skipper Trent Cotchin also has his exit meeting today amid uncertainty over his future. Well, the Matildas are hoping the new Sydney Football Stadium can inspire a return to form in tonight's clash against Canada. A disappointing Australian side lost game 1 in Brisbane 1-0, but coach Tony Gustafsson explained why his side is ready to hit back.
We actually gathered a team out there on the pitch after the game to take a picture, kind of say, hey, let's fly in time here and picture this is the 19th of July, the day before a World Cup opening game, and get that feeling and that vibe.
And in some golf to finish, Cameron Smith has been nominated for the PGA Tour's Player of the Year award despite his recent defection to LIV Golf. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
First National Real Estate. Their team of real estate experts will put you first.
At Holden Hill, look out for a smash on St Olds Road and Lyons Road. Glendore, urgent sewer works there, Anzac Highway near South Road. Cavan, you find asphalt works on Port Wakefield Road near Montague Road, and Wavell expect delays around Greenhill Road and Goodwood Road a little bit later in the morning. That's due to the Royal Show. And keep in mind, when the show is on, speeds around that area go down to 25. Look out for a camera too. Cavan Road at Dry Creek. Order your sea coffee on the OTR wrap and enjoy a freshly ground barista-made coffee. It's as easy as click and collect. Making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Peter Jackson Blinds and Awnings for stunning service and results. Adelaide Metro and Mount Barker. Search Peter Jackson Blinds.
Mostly sunny and 20 today. Rain tomorrow with the chance of a thunderstorm 18. Showers on Thursday 16 and easing on Friday also 16. At the moment 14. More news as it happens on 5AA.
First day of my new business, insured by QBE. Cue the lights. Cue the first customers.
Hello.
Cue the morning rush. Cue the unavoidable. Cue the call to QBE.
Hi, sorry.
Cue the quick response.
We'll get that sorted for you.
QBE Insurance on cue for thousands of small businesses before and after. Search QBE SME or talk to your broker today.
See qbe.com/au for eligibility, the PDS and the TMD to decide if this product is right for you. The product issuer is QBE Insurance Australia Limited.
Summer will be here before we know it. In fact, it might start feeling like it a little bit today, but so will cranking the air conditioner too high, which can lead to huge electricity bills and, of course, the real potential for blackouts.
That's right, but look, RAA can help. RAA can always help. Now they can help with a solar system and a home battery storage setup, and that can reduce bill shock and also cut your carbon footprint. With a home battery, you can store the sun's energy for use at night, and it will also protect you against blackouts.
RAA is accredited by the Clean Energy Council, Smart Energy Council, plus RAA members will save 10% on the cost of solar. To find out how much you can save this summer, contact the solar experts at RAA for a quote today. T's and C's apply. BLD number 319335.
It's hard to believe, but bi-urban bathrooms and kitchens may not be everyone's cup of tea. If you're not fussed by sticky drawers, if you're not driven mad by something that doesn't quite line up, if you don't appreciate millimetre-perfect craftsmanship and service of the highest standard, then maybe bi-urban bathrooms and kitchens is not for you. But if those things are important, buyurban.com.au, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
21 minutes to 9. Tickets didn't go off this morning, so we've got another clue coming for you tomorrow. Behind closed doors is not too far away. Already getting a lot of texts about the AFL rights deal. We wanted to do some work on this because it feels as though some sort of agreement between whichever amalgamation or conglomerate of media organisations ultimately wins the AFL rights deal is imminent. There'll be some announcement sometime soon. Certainly that's the insight our next guest got, writing in the News Limited papers right around the country overnight. Jamie Pandaram joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Jamie, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, mate. How are you?
We're good, thanks, Jamie. So, mate, walk us through the details here. I guess we were saying earlier, and we got a lot of support from our listeners, most people who listen to our show are pretty traditional media consumers. They're people who use free-to-air television and commercial radio to listen to and watch footy broadcasts. How do you think that any of the new deal will involve streaming? Do you think that it's inevitable that some of the games will end up being accessible only via getting an app or something?
Yeah, I think that's the way that we're heading. I think it's inevitable that sports rights becomes a battle for subscription pay television eyeballs. If you look at the business models of the major media companies, they're all pivoting towards the digital side of things. Holding on to that traditional free-to-air audience is becoming tougher. We've got more competition than ever before. We've got multiple streaming apps giving us more entertainment options than ever before. The one thing that is a constant is sport, and that's something that I've come to realise the last couple of days just researching this story. There are a lot of successful television shows that over a number of seasons haven't measured up to the ratings, haven't measured up to the hype, and that really has an adverse impact on a company's bottom line. One thing you can't say about sport that is unpredictable. You can pretty much guarantee a certain amount of viewers for your major codes, NRL and AFL, a year in advance, and you wouldn't be too far off the mark. You can't say the same about major TV shows like MKR or The Block. They tend to vary a bit more. So what you'll start to see is sport have a greater role in how the networks pivot and how they then offer their other products. So they'll have sport as their main kind of driving force for viewers, and then they'll be able to sell their other shows off the back of that through advertising, during games. And people, their habits are changing. I think all our habits are slowly changing. We want to consume entertainment when it suits us, wherever we are. We might be at a friend's party, we might be overseas, and, we still want access to games. More and more we will start to see that happen through the streaming services. And that's why you're starting to see the likes of Nine bidding $500 million a year for AFL rights, which, a few years ago would have been unthinkable.
So are we close enough to the finish line, Jamie, that you feel like you could have a reasonable stab at what the rights will look like in terms of who's showing what and when?
Yeah, I expect that some sort of announcement will be made in the next 48 hours. That's my information. So really, Ten and Paramount are still in the mix, but I think at the moment, it's very much head-to-head between Nine and Stan and their offer, and then the incumbents, Seven with Fox Sports, and what they come to the table with. So it'll be very interesting, but either way, will be the biggest sports broadcasting rights deal in Australian history.
So we won't hold you to this, but if you're playing nearest to the pin, what do you reckon the total value of the rights will be over what is the term?
Mate, look, it's as I wrote yesterday, you're sort of looking at about $2.5 billion over 5 years. I actually think it may even exceed that.
Oh, wow.
Which is extraordinary numbers, but also, I guess, shows how important sports rights have become, but in this market in particular. And I think what the AFL has capitalised on beautifully is the timing of it. We're coming off COVID, the NRL rights have been sewn up, and everything else is up in the air. So you've got these unbelievable ratings coming through from the final series already, and it's just such a valuable product. So they're just negotiating at the right time with networks who are desperate for live sporting content.
Is there any sense as to who's in the front, who's in the lead at the moment? Nine and Stan, or Seven and Fox Sports?
It was Seven and Fox over the weekend. I think it sort of came back a bit yesterday. I think it might be turning back towards Seven and Fox. But who knows? Anything can happen with these sort of things. You probably have to go for the incumbents because they have a working relationship. They know what works and what doesn't. But at the end of the day, nobody really expected Nine to come in with $500 million. So, we're going to have to ascertain where Seven Fox comes in at over the next few hours, and see if they're matching that or even exceeding that.
Geez, it's like the world's Australia's hugest auction right now. So much riding on it. Hey, that's great analysis, Jamie. Jamie Pandaram from News Corp, senior sports journo, covering what is really the biggest sort of business story in Australia right now. Thanks for your analysis, mate. It was great.
Pleasure there. Yes.
So next 48 hours, we might get an announcement. Whilst that interview was going on, I got some mail from Channel 7, who, as Jamie says, might be in the lead for this right now as it's going. In 7 at the moment, they are fighting like crazy to make sure that all Power and Crows games in South Australia are on free-to-air. Now, some might be on delay, like they already are, but they're trying to make sure that the system remains similar to what it has been and doesn't go to what the model is in Victoria, where for a long time, if you're in Victoria, you might get to see your team occasionally on free-to-air television.
It's really bad in Melbourne, yeah.
Oh, yeah, if you live in Melbourne, good luck to you to, invite your friends around if you're on free-to-air television, because it doesn't happen all the time. So that is some hopeful noises coming out of South Australia that I think will be welcome news to a lot of our texters who have texted in on this on the Automasters text line.
Text like this from Tony in Montague Farm. Morning, boys. With all the new channels on free-to-air, we should be able to watch our chosen sport for free. It's not all about AFL. Motorsport fans have been ripped off for a number of years now. The Olympics will be next on pay TV only, as it's already app-based. And this one here, I think a lot of listeners could relate to this. I'm one of these people. If AFL goes to pay your subscription, then I won't be able to watch it. I'm on a pension and I can't afford things like that. Thank you for your texts.
All right, it's coming up to 13 minutes to 9. Behind closed doors, not too far away. Let's check the traffic first until your new BMW arrives. Adelaide BMW will help keep your current vehicle fueled. T's and C's apply.
At Holden Hill, we've got a smash on St Olds Road at Lyons Road. At Glandore, urgent sewer works there. Anzac Highway near South Road. At Wavell, expect delays around Green Hill and Goodwood Road later in the morning when the show's open. Fair few pedestrians, and do keep in mind when the show is open, speeds go down to 25 around that area. Look out for camera 2 Hart Street at Semaphore. Pick up the Advertiser today to find out how homeowners can prepare for rising interest rates and get your exclusive Coles Daily Deal coupon. Only in today's Advertiser. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
So you've just been brought up to speed by Jamie Pandaram from News Limited about the new rights deal. If you would like to have a say on it, call us right now on 8223 0000, because we are getting a lot of texts from people with concerns about the general trajectory of this story regarding streaming, pay-per-view, all this kind of stuff. If you've got some concerns, you've got some thoughts, let us know. 8223 0000 is the number. Get calling now. Are you hopeful about what you've heard about the rights deal? Are you concerned about where it's all going? How are you feeling about your capacity to watch your team play footy for 2023 and beyond? Let us know, and we'll get to some of your calls very shortly.
Don't say we didn't warn you. Over 75% of tickets in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery have already been sold. Don't just dream about winning the life-changing grand prize and living mortgage-free in Somerton Park. Get your tickets now. With over 75% already gone, you don't want to miss your chance to win big. Join the fight for South Australia's healthcare heroes and get your tickets today. homelottery.com.au. Licence 14227.
Gliderol has manufactured and installed garage doors in SA since 1974, and their commitment to quality is as strong as ever. So if it's time for a new look for your house or time to upgrade, why not now? Order a new roller door, sectional door or customer designer door with operator by September 30th and you'll receive a free premium operator upgrade and 2 bonus handsets. For a free measure and quote and helpful advice, search Gliderol today. Retail customers only. T's and C's apply.
Now, did you know that 56% of renters choose not to extend their lease because of poor response times to maintenance by their property manager?
It can take an alarming 14 days or longer to hear from anyone about urgent maintenance, if at all. The team at Toop and Toop, they're all over this. Their response time is 90% faster than the industry average.
Great statistics. They also have a 24/7 emergency hotline where tenants can get urgent assistance after hours and on weekends, making sure their clients avoid damage and additional costs at their property.
If you're a landlord and you want the experts to look after your rental property, give the team at Toop and Toop Property Management a call or simply head to toop.com.au.
It's hard to get excited about anything when you have to wait. Buy a new car? Wait. Build a home? Wait. Buy a new lounge? Wait. Delayed gratification. It's everywhere. But not at Bob Burns Blinds. At Bob Burns Blinds, we have a 10-day installation promise. Our quality roller blinds are made right here in SA, not interstate. So instead of waiting 3 months or more for your roller blinds, we'll do it in 10 days. And that's a promise. BobBurnsBlinds.com.au.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
10 to 9, behind closed doors in just a moment. Lots of people wanting to talk TV rights. Taufik's called in from Mawson Lakes. Taufik, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Will and Dave. First of all, thanks for the Royal Adelaide show tickets from 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
we
mate.
went there last weekend and we had a ball.
No
Thanks
worries.
for that.
Glad to hear it.
Good on you, Taufik.
Thank you very much. Now, coming back to the discussion that we are having about AFL now, I'm a migrant. I've been in Australia for 9 years now. And before coming, I've never seen footy, so I didn't have any understanding of it. But, hello?
Yeah, we still got you.
Yeah, sorry. So, yeah, I mean, but once I started watching, I fell in love with it. And I'm an avid watcher of AFL footy. But, of course, like, I mean, if it goes on pay TV, I might think twice if I would, want to get a subscription or something to continue watching.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the main point is you want wider audience, given that it's just an Australian-based sport. However, if for people like me who hasn't seen it before and, who just, you might lose that market if you go on subscription base. I mean, that's just an opinion, but I thought I'd just share.
Yeah, it's a good opinion, mate. No, it's something too, Taufik, that a lot of people are talking about. One here, Nathan in Eden Hill says, look, I don't care how they try to sell it. I'm not getting a subscription to some overpriced rubbish service to watch the footy. One thing that annoys me, and this is someone who I grew up in an analogue world that became digital about halfway through my life. So, I can remember meeting friends in the mall. We'd say, I'll be at the balls at 6 p.m.
Yep, and you had to be there.
Yep, because there were no mobiles. You didn't have a WhatsApp group to organise your monthly Thursday night Chinese in Goodyear Street. The thing with all of these different apps, like often you get an app because you want to watch one show that's on Stan. So then you end up with Stan, and you just got Stan, and you think, oh, that's right, I got Stan. I haven't watched anything on Stan for 8 months. And it feels like effort to me. And I know that digital people, and you're looking at me a bit like, oh, mate, come on, it's not that hard. But I find it deeply annoying. Like, we got a new Apple TV box. We had another
It's
Apple
probably the
TV
simplest way
box.
to do it, actually. But I know what you're going to say.
I don't find it simple.
Yeah.
Like I said to Safe, can you please I said, all right, you buy it at JB Hi-Fi on one condition, you and your boyfriend set it up, and then sit me down on the couch and explain how it works.
It's gone to from 0 to 100 in just a relatively few number of years. I don't think many of our listeners at all, if any, would have had any form of TV subscription service 5 years ago. I don't think I probably did. It's all happened really fast. But I was just thinking as we read that ad for Toop and Toop, there was a time that going to a website for information about real estate, like, come on. We're miles away from this being as routine as a website, but it feels inevitably that's where we're going to end up.
But the issue is, there's a whole bunch of Australians, and I'm almost one of them, where you get to a certain age and you think, I don't even want to learn this stuff. I just want life to be the way it used to be. And that's a totally valid way to feel.
Oh, absolutely. Matthew in Sellex Beach, good morning.
Boys, how are you?
Good, thanks, mate.
I've had to have Foxtel for years because I follow the Bulldogs, and to get any football whatsoever of the Dogs, I've got to have Fox, even to get any news and stuff like that. So, when they go on about Roey's very banned Victorian and stuff like that, I don't believe that. Roey calls it a lot of times how it is, but the Victorian South Australian people, they do miss out on a lot of footy because everyone does, because if you don't have Fox, you can't watch every game, and even one or two games is in South Australia is good to watch, but on delay, it's better than nothing, because as I said, I pay like $200 a month to have Foxtel on, with internet and all the crap that goes with it, but it's
$200 a month?
Yeah.
When you count the plan
we've got
and
every
everything.
channel that we're lazy. We've got every channel that we don't watch, and we've got our Foxtel through, Wi-Fi through Foxtel as well, because that only costs me $50 a month.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, okay.
So, but if I didn't have that, I'd be starved of football because, it's just how I can get it.
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing. It's a very different conversation in Victoria right now.
Nick makes a good point. What about the biggest sport in the world, soccer? Every single major soccer league can only be viewed via a streaming service such as Optus, Stan, Paramount and many others. It's such a shame. Soccer is the future. If you want to see what the future looks like, it's soccer.
Within those countries too. Not just an Australian trying to watch the English Premier League, it's English people trying to watch the Premier League. You have to have subscriptions to whatever league your side's in as well.
And you think about that, if you're some, working class bloke living in Bermondsey, barracking for, Millwall.
You go to the pub, just changes the culture of how you watch games. It's not something that's being done at everyone's home. Yeah, look, no one's saying it's great and everyone's better off as a result of it, but it does have this sort of scent of inevitability about it. All right, let's go behind closed doors. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed...
News and issues that matter to Adelaide. This is Leon Viner.
Welcome back, and a lot to get to, and as I always say, make no mistake, this program is nothing without you. Well, it is, but we need you to talk about it and tell other people how good it is. And we also love to have your involvement, so don't be afraid to call us. Now, this morning we've been talking about post offices and why a lot of them are closing. We have an email from George who says, the closures of post offices in Australia is a beat-up. You are talking about the closure of 30 out of a total of 4,320. Now, George, would you be kind enough to tell us where you get your information from? Because my information is a little bit more than 30. We don't do beat-ups on this program. And if it's a beat-up, why is the Shadow Minister getting involved in this? Now, coming up after 11, we'll be looking at the best scones in town and who makes them. So if you've got a recipe, don't be afraid to share it with us. Now, we'll be talking to the Vice President of the CWA, that, of course, being the Country Women's Association, and they always, of course, are renowned for having the best scones in the world. Now, a bit later, we'll be talking about scam emails and what you can do about them. And we'll be talking to Professor Nigel Fair about this, and he'll have some things to say about that. He'll tell you what you can do to spot a suspicious email. Don't forget the phone number, 8223 0000, and you can call us on any subject at all, and believe me, there's a lot going on. That's an understatement. Now, of course, we always do our best to fix your problems, whatever they may be. Now, don't go away because we'll be talking to Hank Yonkin after the break.
Leon Bonner is coming up after 9 o'clock. We're pretty much out of time on this Tuesday morning. Enjoy the sun. Have a wonderful day. And if you're going to the show, you couldn't have picked a better day to do it.
Absolutely beautiful. Barely a cloud in the sky, looking out east over Hindmarsh Square. It's going to be a cracking day, folks. And my tip is, if you get a Dagwood dog today, get the small one, not the big one. Seriously.
See you tomorrow morning from 6.
Wake up to a winning brekkie! Grab a large McCafe coffee or hash brown with your morning McMuffin for your chance to win with the Monopoly game at Macca's.